Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, high atop the mountain fortress here on Staten Island. Welcome to another edition of the Madman Cafe. Day before Labor Day. Oh, excuse me, not Labor Day. Excuse me, Veterans Day, Labor Day. got my switches up there off kilter there. My holidays off kilter. Um, but welcome. A lot going on. A lot going on right now. You hopefully will be able to open the government again. As far as 8 Democrats have basically flipped over to the Republican side of favors on there, which is a good thing. You know, because this whole shutdown is insane, and the snap thing and all that is just that's in another episode. And of course we have a new mayor, a mayor that we didn't like or voted for. And already, he's trying to push these things, Zohan. You try to push these insane ideologies and stuff like that. These rules. I mean, already, you have the things that people experts saying like he can't do this. He doesn't have the power to do it. He doesn't, like for example, the rent freezing. You got to go through the rent control board. You can't and they're duly elected. You sit there and you say to yourself, well, how can he influence it? No, he can't. And then of course, the grocery stores. He said, we're gonna give you government run grocery stores. Do you know how many grocery stores are in New York City alone? I think it's over 1,600. I think you're going to compete with the likes of Stop and Shop, Shoprite, Aldi, and many others that are in New York City. No, it's not going to happen. It's not going to happen. And plus, you're going to try to put money out of taxpayers' dollars to fund this. It's never going to work. It's already been proven. This fails because there's been other cities that have tried it and it's failed. Before we get into this, once again, welcome aboard. If you haven't yet, there's that subscribe button down below. Hit that like. Share this, and thank you for joining us. Thank you for joining us today. Hopefully, we'll have some guests today. Some guest speakers give their 2 cents to the nature of what is going on around the world, around the pop culture, around the politics and insanity. And there's some good stuff and some bad stuff, and some insane stuff out there going on. Before we really get into it, we did have some breaking news. Obviously, right before we go on there, you get some extra news that's coming on as we're doing to that nature. If I can bring it up here. Yes, that's right. With Skydance's purchase and the future purchase of another company, it looks like they're going to Paramount Plus is going to get a price hike for 2026. Yes, did we expect that? Yes, we did. We did. David Ellison's Paramount Skydance is planning to spend on more content at the same time going to charge for more streaming. And basically that this has been going on for quite some time now. Other companies have been doing it. I think we're going up for about $1 to that point. Before we go any further, let me introduce someone here. Someone has just arrived. It's Death Angel Shadows. Hey, well, how you doing?
I'm hanging in there, man. How about yourself?
Hey, it's Monday. I thought today was the holiday.
No, tomorrow's the
Holiday. I was like,
holidays.
why is
It's
it on a
always
Tuesday?
11
Is it always a
11.
Tuesday?
It's 11/11. It's whatever day 11/11 is.
Yeah, but sometimes they shuffle it because of
If
the day,
if it's
because where it
yeah, if
falls
it's
on.
on like a Saturday or Sunday, then they'll do it on the Monday following.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then then this comes out right now that basically Paramount's going to jack their prices.
Oh, great.
Well, they're going to have to buy Warner somehow.
Yeah, well, I uh, I may or may not still use my ex roommate's account for that. So
Oh
far,
boy.
the only thing I've watched on the under his account is well, was it 1883 and um Frasier. I like the new Frasier. It's pretty good.
Well, mostly I've been using the Paramount for all the Taylor Sheridan stuff.
Yeah, yeah. Well, I mean, he lived with us for almost. I don't know. He paid for that one, and I, of course, I had Netflix and Disney Plus and all the other crap. So it worked out.
You know,
But hey, your weather got lost.
my weather got lost.
Yeah,
What
yeah.
weather?
You need to come down here and get it. Okay.
Oh, what do you mean weather got lost? I'm hitting 30s tonight.
Dude, oh, well, yeah, but that's normal for you guys.
What do you mean normal?
Dude, we are
It's really
already.
November.
It's like 28 degrees outside already,
Yeah,
and
we
I've had
expect.
snow flurries all day.
Yeah, we
That is
expect.
not. That's not acceptable.
No, we expect to be in the 20s by the end of the week.
Yeah, I think we're gonna hit 20s in the morning. We're falling.
I
I've
mean,
had the heater on all day, but
upstate's getting their first snow by the weekend, supposedly.
they say that this may be the. Of course, I'm in the Knoxville area, and this may be the first year that they've had measurable accumulation at the airport. I think is where they had it since '96. Because I do stuff with the National Weather Service and stuff. So,
Hang on one second. I just gotta check the channel. Oh yes, we are live.
and no, I'm not an employee. I don't get paid for it. It's all volunteer stuff. But
Yeah, I'm just checking the other sites. Where are we here? Rumble. There we go. We're
but
visible
yeah,
on Rumble. There we go. We look nice on Rumble too. So, no, because we are broadcasting on 3 channels now. I mean, 3 different sites now. Everything.
yeah. I need to add. I don't do Facebook. I get in trouble.
No. X. If you pay the monthly on X,
I don't know if I
you
can do you have to pay more than the whatever it is I paid for the
I pay
blue
$7
check?
a month, like $7 to $8 a month.
I paid for it. I don't know. Actually, that should probably come and due again. It was like $80 or $70 or something.
Oh, you be paying the yearly. I'm paying the monthly.
Yeah, yeah. Now Restream. Yeah, Restream.
Yeah, Restream also. Yeah. The
That
other
one.
thing, because I want to bring this up before we go any, continue on here. The other breaking, because we have breaking news, the two variety on here. Besides the Paramount, looks like HBO Max is gotten the rights to do a V for Vendetta TV series.
Oh, really? A V for Vendetta, huh?
I mean, technically, how are they going to do something like this? I mean, are they going to go on with because technically, yeah, there is a continuation in the comics, but it's not the original V. I'm sorry for those of you I'm going to ruin it that hasn't seen the movie yet. Yeah, V dies at the end. V
when
dies
you
at
say
the end.
V, you know what I think of, right?
Oh, you thinking of the alien one?
Yeah. Of course I do, because I'm a nerd.
Yeah, which is now available on Tubi. Not an advertisement for Tubi.
No, I'm glad they have Babylon 5 though.
They got Babylon 5. They got Tubi. Tubi's got Babylon 5. What was the other one?
Which I still need to do a couple more watches on before the show on Wednesday.
We got Forever Night.
Okay.
If you haven't seen that yet. Vampire Cop.
Yeah, I kind of remember watching that show back in the day, a couple of times.
Yeah, it's kind of funny because when you click on it and you watch it, it has the CBS logo on it, the CBS late night logo.
Was it on late night on CBS?
Oh yeah,
Was it
before,
after Letterman and stuff like that?
No, before Letterman came over and all, before they had late night television, the late night shows. This was in between because what happened was they had God, what's his name from Wheel of Fortune, Pat Sajak. They had the Pat
Oh,
Sajak
the Pat
show.
Sajak show. I remember that.
Remember they had the Pat Sajak show for a while.
What
and
that
Pat
lasted for like
failed.
a year, right? Just one
about a
season.
year, something like that, and it failed. And with Pat, it just basically they just canceled them out, and they said, what can we do to to replace him? We don't have anybody to replace him. So they said, let's try some programming.
Was it?
So they
Was it?
put
It must have been syndicated or something like that. It's probably a Canadian-made show.
Yeah, no, mostly what they bought were Canadian made shows. They bought was it Forever Night, Silk Stockings.
Yeah, I
Uh,
remember that one.
Silk Stockings was so good. That was such a good show. Sexy cop show,
Yeah.
especially that opening. Jesus Christ, that you could
Yeah.
back in the '90s, you could not put that on prime time.
Had to be after 11 p.m. so it met the FCC appropriate
Yeah, that was like
guidelines
it
or
was for
whatever.
11 p.m. midnight in there. The other one was dark. I think it was called Dark Justice. Was the other one where he was a judge by day and
I
vigilante by
remember
night.
that show too.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
Wow.
yeah. And I forgot what the other one. There was like three others that were on there because it was one every night. It was like a different show every night, like in the 5 night range.
Yeah.
And you know that that was the popularity then because you not only on that you had the CBS late night. You had the stuff on P10, which was Babylon 5, Hercules and Xena, and you had the whole slew of TV series. Stuff from movies. You had the Midnight Run TV series. You
Yeah.
had the Smokey and the Bandit TV series.
Wait, there was a TV series for Smokey and the Bandit?
Yes, there was, but it just like it wasn't the way you thought it would be. It was just
Okay.
some guy going around helping people, and in a freaking in the current version of a Trans Am. It was called Bandit.
Okay. Interesting. I miss BJ McKay and you know
Oh, and we and
and Lobo. I even liked Lobo.
and Mr. Pensack, thank you for coming on here. I got to put up the chat. I forgot to put up the chat. Where,
Uh,
show on the screen here.
hey Dave.
Oh boy, and yeah, that you had all these TV shows. Some of it was made up from movies. Others were made up. Like what was it? Was
Well,
it Forgotten
Buffy would have
Son?
been big then too. I'm sure.
Yeah. There was one about a couple of young brothers from Asia, and they came into like a hick town or some rural town where mostly like but just basically a lot of racism and stuff like that on there. Hey, PB, um, and basically it was really good as well.
I remember In the Heat of the Night. That was a pretty good show.
Oh, that was a great show. That was a great
And since
show.
I grew up watching, All in the Family, it was good to see Carol O'Connor do a different type of role. The man had a lot of
Oh
uh,
yeah.
what would you call it? He was far more talented than most people I think realized at the time.
Yeah, I remember the man from Atlantis.
Uh,
That was a good show. That was a good show. So there's a lot. There's a lot. Manimal was the if you
I
remember
loved
Manimal.
Manimal
Manimal was the
and
other one. Manimal,
Animal and
Automan.
Automan. Yeah,
Automan.
we said that at the same time. Cursor, draw. Do, 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 do.
And here's the first one because everyone says like, oh, Blade was the first black superhero to come on the screen. Actually, it was another one called Mantis.
I do kind of remember Mantis, but I loved Manimal and I loved Automan. I don't care what
Mantis was
anybody thinks.
Mantis was a good series. It was about a guy who was a professor in African studies or something like that, and he was crippled, and he
Yeah.
created some.
Oh, it was a suit, right?
Yeah,
That
it
he
was a
created
suit.
that allowed him to
Do
be
all these
able to
cool
do
things.
stuff.
Now the
Yeah,
movie was good. The movie was good. The series kind of started going in a weird direction.
like all series.
Yeah, Super
Basically.
Train. Yep, that's another one. Hey, look at this. We're going through
I
this
mean,
all here.
I remember. Of course, I liked Airwolf, but I remember
Everyone liked
Blue
Airwolf.
Thunder.
Who didn't like Airwolf?
I liked Blue Thunder too. So
The Blue Thunder series was
yeah, and then of course
Logan's Run the
that was
TV
still the
series.
'80s though. That was still the '80s because when uh when the '90s hit, that's when you got Sequest, DSV.
Sequest was good.
Yeah,
They
that
got
was.
a little weird when they got into the season when they took out Scheider and replaced them with Mike Ironside.
Yeah, no, that wasn't the same. But
Yeah, no, they went completely different on that. I mean, but I did like Michael. They brought in Michael York as one of the
yeah,
villains for the series because Michael York is a great actor.
yeah.
In fact, coming into season 3, that we're going into Babylon 5, Michael York is going to be guest starring on one of the episodes coming forward.
Oh, that's cool.
So something to look forward to when on Sci-Fi Snobs channel on Babylon 5 retrospective. Which, folks, if you're watching, don't forget this week,
Season finale,
season finale this week.
episode 22 of season 2. And
Oh,
you know what been telling people? Begun the Shadow Wars have.
oh, the Phoenix. That's another one. Well, you guys are bringing up some ones that just, ooh,
I guess I should be watching the chat, huh? Except I'm walking around trying to warm up here.
yeah,
I think I'm gonna
yeah,
light
I
my
think so.
heater.
Yep.
I'm gonna start the heater, so
Mm.
I got
Sorry
my.
for the cold.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
mean,
It's a little
I mean, I
early,
can't
man.
really. Well, no, I saw this morning. What was it on the Disney broadcast? The guys down, the streamers on at Disney, and I saw people with a lot of jackets on.
Yeah, my coworkers work down in Florida, and they're complaining about cold. Of course, having grown up there, if it gets below 70, 60 degrees, 60 degrees is jacket weather, and if it gets in the 50s, it's winter coat weather.
Mm-hmm.
Where I know we're wimps. I moved up here now. I'm starting to get acclimated. I can't tell the temperature anymore by when I walk outside. Well, actually, I can now, but I can for here. But for the first couple of years, I was like, you know, it's like 40 degrees, and I'm like, it must be 20 outside. And
Oh
now I
no, I
walk
was watching.
outside, and it's like 30, and I'm like, well, it feels like 30.
I
So,
was watching the Disney streamers from Paris,
oh
and
wow,
over in Paris, holy, they were
they
in
can
parkas.
really,
They were I was like, is this a I wasn't certain if it was live or not. And I was like looking and I said, oh shit, it is live. Holy what's the temperature? The guy's like saying, it's about 40 degrees out here. And it must be 40 real, and it must be, that there must be a wind chill because
yeah.
everybody was in parkas. It was like nobody was lighter than a parka.
It was really breezy here too. The past day. Well, we went from like 70 degrees to
Mm.
cold.
I mean, we have the windows open here, but it's still, it's got a bit of a hint away. And it's been dark all day here. It's like it
There
looks
was
like it's gonna rain, but it hasn't rained.
we had some light. I actually saw, and I didn't know what to call it, where there was sunlight, and there was like small flurries falling, and I'm like, do you call it a sun snow shower? Because in Florida we would have sun showers, where it's sun's still shining bright, but there's like that cloud right over your head, and you know. But
Well, here's some good news today, and it's
okay,
like let me just
I could
hide
use
that
good
for a
news.
second. Just pull this up on the screen. Where is it here?
I'm gonna light my heat.
Well, I've been talking about this a lot lately, and you guys know about Demon Slayer,
Right.
the Demon Slayer movie, Infinity Castle, which has been doing fantastic. In fact, Jason was talking about it today. He had one of the guy who's I get was it
Oh,
movie
Paul.
reporter? Movie
Paul.
reporter, I
Yeah.
think. What's his name? I forgot his name. Um,
I I can't
and
remember his last name. Yeah,
basically,
I don't want to butcher his last name, but I'm pretty sure his first name is Paul. So.
yeah, Paul. Yeah, Paul. That's why I couldn't remember the first name on that. But the thing about it is, um, a lot of people are not looking to this. A lot of the media is not paying attention to this. I mean, right now you got Demon Slayer, you got Chainsaw Man, and then you got Jujutsu Kaisen coming out in December. Both Chainsaw Man and Demon Slayer have both made their money already. Demon Slayer did it. I mean, I'm sorry, Chainsaw Man did it within the week. Same thing with Demon Slayer on there. Now, Demon Slayer is expected to hit $1 billion, hopefully within another week or two. Why? Because they're getting an opening in China. China has approved them, and I've said this before. Actually, they delayed it for about a month, and Friday is supposed to be the big opening for it. Now, as last numbers that I got from the bench, basically, thank you, Dave. Um, we're talking $13.9 million in pre-sales already, and
Caribbean, yeah.
and that's pretty big for China. Actually, that's pretty good for the U.S. also. For any movie, and it hasn't even hit yet.
Yeah.
And basically, and it's a big pre-sale, and it's for a non-Chinese, movie. It's massively big.
Yeah.
The thing about what was said today with Paul, and it's you're seeing this diversion that people want something new, they want something fresh, and to the whole thing, and anime has been giving that already.
Right.
Right now, what was I watching yesterday? I was catching up. What was it? Campfire cooking in another world with my Serb skills. So I always said there's always something for everybody in the anime world. Campfire cooking is. I would think of watch one of the cooking ones. Some of the cooking ones are funny. They're really good, and they teach you to cook also somewhat. And this one is that basically this guy's walking around in another universe. He has the ability to buy from Amazon and have it shipped to him in another world. Figure that one out. It just
Okay.
pops up, bing, and he buys the spices. Sometimes he buys meats, and he sits there, grills up, and he has these like familiars that are with them. They're powerful familiars, and they just love to eat. They go on adventures, they go into dungeons and stuff like that. But meanwhile, the other half of it, they sit there. The guy does cooking, and then basically he feeds the familiars, and it's pretty fun. It's like one's the slime. the slime, the slime goes, when he wants to fight, he goes, "I gotta go pew pew. Can I go pew pew?"
You know what I'd like to see?
What would you like to see?
I'd like to see a good version of Dresden Files.
Well, there's a new book coming. I'm
There's
told.
always a new book coming. Jim Butcher is a
Yeah,
writing.
Butcher, I think is putting out a new one.
He could write circles around George R. R. Martin.
My wife loves the TV series.
So that was my first introduction was the TV series, and everybody I know who's read the books, and I've read some of the books now, but at the time I was like, oh, I never read the books before, and they're like, oh, the TV series was crap. You need to read the books, and I'm like, okay. So now I've read the books, and yeah, the TV series just didn't do it justice. But there are so many. He has so many books there that they could easily do a multi-season adaptation of it, and it would be, if it was done right, it could be good. They'd
Oh,
have to
good.
find the right actor, you know.
How old is the who was the last actor? I'm trying to remember who that was. Oh, no, I'm gonna have to look it up now. Hang on.
Who the last one? Who the last?
They did Dresden for the series.
Oh, Jim Butcher. I mean, he's the
No,
author,
no, no, the actor.
but he was an okay actor. I mean, like I said, I liked the show. I think Bob was probably my
No, it
favorite
was
character.
Paul Blackthorne. Was the actor who played Harry Dresden.
You know, what would be funny is to see James Marsters play the character.
Who?
So so all of the good audiobook versions of Dresden were read by James Marsters. Spike from Buffy.
Oh yeah.
He he loves and like somebody else did one of them, and so many people complain. They're like, That's not. This is not right." And so they wound up getting him back to do it, to do the rest of them. So, yeah, but he does a pretty bang up job there
Well,
on
like I
them.
said, I mean, my wife loved the Dresden Files. She says, "Oh, can we get more of it?" She's always saying, "Can we get more?" And I say, "I
Yeah.
don't know." Well, of course, I think wasn't that Sci-Fi Channel?
No, it was probably on TNT or one of them.
Yeah, because I know back in the day, was it Sci-Fi Channel had some great stuff.
I don't. I think it was on. I'm pretty sure it was syndicated.
Yeah, because she loved it, and she's always saying that she always tells me every once in a while, is there going to be a Dresden? When I told her that Butcher was going to do another book, she's, "Oh, I got to get it. I got to get that new book." But oh yeah, everybody out there in the chat, just want to
Oh,
say
you're right. It was on
I
Sci-Fi
was on site. I thought so.
in 2007.
Yeah,
Also was on Sky One in the UK
yep, that's what I thought.
and Space, whatever that is in Canada.
Mm.
Our cousins to the Great White North.
Well, you know
Although
whose birth?
although although that's not that I kind of feel like we're part of the Great White North, even though I'm in the South.
Mm. Well, you know whose birthday is this week, or was it
Not
like a week
mine.
too? No, 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 no. A great cat out there, Felix the cat, has turned 106.
Oh, I heard that today.
Yep,
I think you brought it
Felix
up
the cat,
probably.
the wonderful, wonderful cat. for, for those
100.
of you who are too young to remember that, that was the actual TV series that was popular during my childhood.
Now originally it was Saturday matinee movie.
Oh yeah, but that goes back to the 30s.
Yeah, well, that's why he's 108.
Yeah, exactly. That was like the 1930. That was a silent movie era. But then they
Yeah.
had the color TV series with Poindexter, the professor, all those, where he had the magic bag of tricks,
Yeah.
to that point. And
See, I was more Heathcliff and um oh, what was the other one? Well, Garfield, of course, but Top Cat? Was it Top Cat?
yeah, Top Cat.
Mhm.
I have oh geez, thank you for reminding me. Now the old show I used to work on, for those of you who are new to Man Man Cafe, Man Man with the show, back in my public access days, like we'll be celebrating, what is it, 42 years on January in Jan no, it's in February, 42 years. I used to work on a TV show, a friend of mine, the late Richard Concepcion. It was a series we called Rabbity Rabbit and Friends, which we had puppets and we had fun like that. And we did interviews.
Hmm.
One of them is the interview with, uh, the guy who did Top Cat. And I finally unearthed it from what I had, of the amount of videos that I have in my collection.
Mhm.
Because there's three of us that, when he passed away, we were given, uh, permission to use the product on there. And basically, I've been remastering some of it lightly, and I've shown it on this channel. I've shown it on Odyssey. Did I do it on Rumble? I think I might have done a little bit on Rumble on there. And we've had a lot of great interviews on there. We did Dr. Demento to there, and many others that we did throughout the years on there. But I finally pulled up the Top Cat one. I was like, that one was missing. In fact, it was, what was it? Uh, it's available on YouTube, but Warner hit it with a copyright claim.
Oh, of course.
And since I don't have access to the YouTube channel, I couldn't go in there to try to dispute it. Yeah, PB Space Network was a really good channel. It's what good sci-fi. channel promised but never really delivered. Quality sci-fi from both sides of the pond, especially stuff we never got in the U.S. And he comes back with what else? When I was worked in the Arctic Circle. Oh my God, I used to get to see Space Network. Great stuff. First show I saw up there when I was Lighton, I think you said. A good show about vampires and werewolves. There was so many good shows back, the '90s with a either vampire or werewolf thing. What was
Yep.
that series? The Embrace was a good series on there. Besides, you had Buffy the Vampire Slayer, of course, but you had like many others on there that were really good. I mean, you had one that was it Embrace that was the one on there with all the different vampire clans. Uh, I'm trying to remember that. I got to look that up. Hang on one second. Let me look that up. That's going to get me for the whole night. Let's see. No, that's the movie. No, that's Embrace for a Vampire. That's the Melissa Milano one. There was one out there. If anybody in the chat remembers it, was the one where basically it was sort of like Romeo and Juliet type, but from vampires. They had all different type of vampire groups. They had vampire gangs. Uh, they had a group called the Nosferatu clan, and many others. And the only reason the series, kind of faltered off is like one of the main characters. I think he got into a motorcycle accident and died, something to that nature. I think that's what the reason it just didn't go on
Well,
any further at that point. But yeah, that's some good stuff then. So many good. Every day I keep finding like a dozen more series that were like, holy shit, I forgot about this one. Oh no, I forgot about this one. Going all the way back to the '70s.
yeah. Oh.
Then meanwhile, Netflix. Oh man, Netflix right now. I got word yesterday. Is now officially working on live adaptations of Demon Slayer, My Hero Academia, Soul Leveling, and a bunch of others. How are the hell are they going to do Soul Leveling on a budget? That's going to be the one that's going to be that's you're going to have to spend some money on the big screen on that one. Because if you don't know what Soul Leveling is, it's basically basically a world that it's a regular present day world. They have these situations where these wormhole type gates keep opening up every once in a while. Inside they're like dungeons, like dungeons in fantasy worlds. And there are all these creatures inside of it. And there are people they're trained to go down there to fight these creatures. Some of them they've gotten a bit stronger as they go down there. Some people don't come back. Some people die, but it's to protect everything, to make sure everything stays in those dungeons. Now, let me just readjust myself here. Now, the main character in this show, Jinwoo, he goes down newly on there and gets like freaking bloody massacred. Him and his people, they're just literally massacred in this place. But he ended up living and surviving for it. And he's continuing to evolve and change, and he's getting stronger every day. And he keeps going into these dungeons, and he keeps battling these creatures. And the thing is, he has an ability to enslave their souls. So in other words, they become part of your army. He has this army of dead warriors.
Interesting.
And it's growing. It's growing. But I mean, there's just this last season that I mean, holy shit! They had to fight this insect threat that was like thousands upon thousands of insects, creatures. And he he just went in, he sent in his army, and he's just like they were just wiping them out left and right.
Hmm.
But the thing about it is that the special effects, the animation effects and stuff like that is top notch. Season 1 is good. Season 2 they took it to the next level. Season 3, it's probably going to be 2 years before we get to see a season 3. Figure that one out. Oh boy.
Yeah. Well, we'll see what what what's left.
What's left? Hey, have you seen the Lego Star Trek yet?
the 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 toy?
The
Yeah, it's
Enterprise.
ridiculously overpriced.
I know. I know. I was looking at it. Wait, let's see. Bring it up here. Hang on. Whoa. Look at that.
They don't make Legos for kids anymore.
No, it's not for
No,
kids. I mean, this is like $400.
it's crazy.
$400. And the thing about it is, they get, if you buy the Star Trek Next Generation Enterprise as a added gift, we're going to give you a shuttlecraft with Ro Laren as figure included
Ensign
with
Rowe.
this.
Oh joy.
Ensign Rowe, yeah. I said, you better give me something free on that.
I mean, I'd love to have the stuff, but that's crazy. They're just out of their gourd with some of these prices.
I mean, 400. I mean, the what was it? The Death Star was like 600. No, it's more than that now. I think it's close. It's insane. It's insane right now. Yeah, Legos are not for Legos are no longer Legos.
No.
Nope, not at all. Not one bit.
I remember my sister had these. I think they were an off-brand of Legos. Like they weren't Legos, but they were similar. And I want to say it was for the Smurfs, and it was like glow-in-the-dark blocks.
Right.
They had instead of having the shorter pips on the top, they were a little bit longer. She was younger. She's 5 years younger than me, so you know. But she had that, and I'm like, okay, whatever, you know.
Yeah, but it's crazy that that they're going to be spending, what is that, Rios?
Frios.
Rios.
What is that?
Yeah, what is that?
I don't know. Brio? Brio,
Yeah, I
like
don't
the
know.
restaurant? Oh, Brios. Oh, maybe that's the
Is that what it is?
Brio bricks. They weren't wooden. They were plastic.
They were like heavy plastic.
Yeah, they were.
I mean, there were so many companies that had different like Lego type. Oh, they were the knockoff. They were Lego knockoff. Yeah, but that's like one of 100 knockoffs.
Blocks. Gargamel's capsule. I think that's what it was for.
Even the dollar store has their own version of it.
Yeah, this is. There we go. Let me see if they have a. This is very much what they. Let me see if I could share this here.
Can you?
Yeah. Can you see them? There you go.
There we go.
That's what they look like.
That Gargamel?
Yeah, yeah. Well, I told you they were Smurfs. So see what I mean about the pips being a little longer,
Yeah.
you know, because they're about almost twice a set. But they yeah, glue in the dark came with an Azrael and a Gargamel. I was always rooting for Azrael and Gargamel. Is that wrong?
Lately they've been, I've been flipping through like the shorty videos on some of the sites. It always keeps playing the freaking Smurf one with Gargamel in the movie, where he took like somebody's hair and made the woman young again.
Well, I mean, technically, Gargamel created Smurfette, if I remember correctly.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I rooted for Gargamel because he was the entrepreneurial one trying to he's just a poor wizard out there trying to make a living. You know, he
I
wasn't.
remember the robot chicken version. He finally got to eat them, and he's like, "Oh God, this is awful."
Yeah.
You gotta love robot. You gotta love robot chicken when they try to bring some of that stuff out. You know, and of course, we were talking about last week about Godzilla minus zero.
Yeah.
Yeah, if you remember that. Um,
Still need to see it.
no. This is the new movie. Is called Minus Zero.
Yeah. I still need to see the first one.
Yeah, because we were talking about
My
the
the
s- the
the
s-
the double zero.
the
Yeah.
double zero the double zero almost like looks like Mothra.
I told you Mothra. I thought was going to be the next one.
Well, they have a whole slew of choices
Oh yeah, they do.
to
But
decide. I
but I
mean,
mean, you want
there's
to
a
go with.
whole rogues gallery.
They're gonna want to go with something that's well known. And to be
Well,
honest,
yeah. Go ahead.
my generation, because I think I'm a little bit younger than you, aren't I? I think just a hair.
Yeah, I'm
I
58.
yeah. So you're 5 years older than I am. So I I some of the stuff was on at the time. Of course, they were all on rerun. They were showing them on Saturday afternoons and stuff like that. You know, with Godzilla and Mothra and all that stuff. I was never into it. I was a little too young for it. Um, so I never really got into it back then. I probably if I was a little bit older, probably would have been. Um,
Are you kidding? Thanksgiving for me in my youth, in my kid's 70s, was for those of you, and I know PB knows this channel, WW WWW. Let me say it again. WWOR Channel 9 in New York, and basically, Channel 9 had a Godzilla marathon on Thanksgiving Day
yeah.
and a King Kong marathon on the day after Thanksgiving. Like they had like an all day marathon.
Cool. Like I said, I was probably just a hair too young to be into it, and I probably would enjoy them more now as a retrospect, going back and watching them.
That
Just
you
like
can
I
get.
just like the kung fu movies. I was just a little bit too young to be really into all the kung fu stuff. I mean, I remember the show Kung Fu.
Oh,
Um,
wait. Are you talking about the show Kung Fu
no,
or
I'm talking
Hong
about the
Kong
actual.
Kung Fu movies?
I'm talking about the Hong Kong Kung Fu movies.
The ones they ran on Saturday morning television.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah. Those two things were they were just a notch above me, generational wise. Because I'm right smack in the middle, Gen X, not
Mhm.
early Gen X.
My first one of my first jobs when I was working in the adult industry and the duplication stuff like that in the movie industry, as far as the production end, the company I worked for, we had a contract with a company called Saturn Productions,
Yeah,
and Saturn Productions back then, I think they're defunct now, was a company that put out Hong Kong films. Those crazy. martial art forms that if you went uh, to Times Square, you know, three three kung fu films for $3, something like this. So some ridiculous on there, you know, and that we were duplicating them for VHS mass production. Yeah, also PIX had the Godzilla movies too.
Yeah, PX I didn't get to watch, but
Yeah,
WOR.
WWR had it for a while, and then it
WOR we
reverted to
got
PX.
we got. I remember watching WOR as a kid, even up in Chicago, because it was WGN and WOR. You got we when we had cable. Once we got cable, I remember getting cable the first time in the '70s, and then we moved to Florida, and we couldn't get cable, and then we finally got cable. We went from having a Scientific Atlanta box with a little, two LED digit display that was, with the in the faux brown wood grain, whatever cover on it, to this little slider that only had like, I want to say it had about maybe 20 positions on it,
Hmm.
and it was this little slider that was the remote, and it had a long cable, like 15 feet long cable that ran to the little box that hooked up to the cable. That was it wasn't even Time Warner. What was it? Cablevision of Central Florida, I think is what the company was. CVI, Cablevision Industries, or I was so. but yeah, I mean, you only got about 20 channels or something like that on cable. That was my introduction to cable in Florida, and I'm like, this is old. I never saw anything that old because when I got cable, we had remote controls. We
Oh
had a
yeah,
regular.
no, I mean I had you said Time Warner. Uh, we had Time Warner out here, but originally before Time Warner was Manhattan Cable TV, and that's who I worked with back in the public access days. Was Manhattan Cable TV, and basically, you know, they had everything on there that people like to watch. And hold on a minute.
I gotta send. Jeanette's off tonight, so she's upstairs. I
Oh,
gotta,
okay.
I gotta. She's like, I can't find the channel.
She can't find us.
Yeah, I'm like, I have it. I know I have it subbed, but the problem. So this is my biggest gripe. You could finish your story. I'll write it down so I don't
Yeah.
forget.
Okay. Basically, yeah. The Manhattan Cable TV. We had the turn knob boxes first. It was like,
Yeah.
you know, just it looked like the big knob that was on your TV, and it had like all the little channels on there. It said, you know, it had the two, four, five, six, seven. You know, the regular channels on there, and
Hmm.
after 13, you know, you got A, B, C, D, all through the letters. You know, now public access itself, um, we were C, D, and lease access was J. Now, anybody who knows, and probably PB will say, yeah, yeah. The old days, um, yeah, exactly. Wait, here we go. Yeah, yeah, some stuff I won't admit to, but yeah, I did do some work around the adult stuff on public access on
Brown
there as
chicken,
well. Not
brown
much, but
cow.
I was working on lot of shows. You know, when you were starting out in public access, it's like the studio always needed volunteers, and I got to that's how I got to learn a lot of this on top broadcast production before I went to trade school. And yeah, back then, you know, any PB will admit to this too. Anybody who knows what Channel J is in New York City that lived back then will always say, "Oh yeah, it was the porn channel." Well, the reason is after 10 p.m., especially like from about Wednesday through the weekend, you had several shows. I've talked about this before on this channel. Um, you had stuff like Robin Bird, who you know, who was a porn star. She was in Debbie Does Dallas. Then you had the late great Al Goldstein, who had was it Screw Magazine? In fact, Screw Magazine is back. He
Yeah.
was the publisher for Screw Magazine, but he also had a TV series called Midnight Blue, which you can now get if you can find it. It's on DVD. They haven't remastered it because I don't know who owns the rights of it now. Somebody bought the rights to it, and it's a lot. And the thing about it is, it's not only that it's porn; it's basically there's some great interviews. Penn and Teller, uh, Deborah Harry. I mean, I could go down a list of people that have been on. Al Lewis from freaking the Munsters. I mean, there's a whole list of people that have been on the Midnight Blue show, including porn stars. You know, but this was on late night, late night. You know, his was on midnight on Fridays. Then you had what was the other one? From the Polish Penthouse, Ugly George. Ugly George was this guy, and I hear he's still walking the streets of New York. This guy walks around in like a spacesuit, and he has like a backpack, and it looks like he has like a satellite dish sticking out, from the back of his unit. And he would pick up girls and bring them back to these hallways, and he would film them doing, them fiddling around a little bit.
Yeah.
I mean, they didn't go like massively far, but it went up to a certain point that they were able to broadcast it. Then you had, what was it? The one that got in trouble to this day, a show called Interludes After Midnight. It was the first, before Playboy did it, it was the first nude talk show. In other words, the host was naked, the guests were naked.
Jeez.
And this ran out of the
insane.
same studio that I shot my show and a dozen other shows I worked on out of there. It's like one time they left the bed there, and I'm like, they said, hey, you can move it out. I said, I'm not touching that bed. Not touching that. See, PB says, I remember Robin Bird. I remember Al Goldstein. Yeah. Anybody from New York City had Manhattan cable TV knew of these people. Now, Interludes After Midnight, the thing about it is this guy got caught for soliciting prostitution. Not in the studio, not on the show, outside. He had something because he had an office. Oh God, where was it? It was on Lexington, I think it was. Lexington Avenue, up in the 30s. And what it was, his office was upstairs, which that's where all the things were happening. Below, there was like a church bazaar. And it had, it was like a little arcade with video games. Kids were going in, playing video games and stuff. And he found out that was the front for it. And what I remember is that they came in and raided the place. And I was like, shit, I went in there a couple of times after school to play video games. I was like, holy shit. Everyone was like, at the studio was like, really? He was doing that? He got a couple of years in jail. He's long time since he's out. And I haven't heard from him since then. And there was like a couple of little things in between, light stuff. And then you had the what they call the overnight commercials. The insane part is, and PB will remember these. They used to, and I knew the people who were behind this. One of them was Robin Bird.
Yeah.
PB, do you remember Steve Gruberg, the Group Tube? I don't know if you remember that one, PB. Steve Gruberg used to work for Al Goldstein. Steve was a great guy. He had his own studio. I used to work on his show as well, and they had these things called the adverbs. And the adverbs were these commercials. They were just literally adult commercials for escort services, for if you want to call to get porn on the phone or something like that. What was the other one? And then in between, they had these like little blurps of what they call silent movie porn, where it was just like basically girls stripping down, but it was from the silent era. And they were playing between.
Oh, like stuff from the 20s and.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So this would run depending on what space they were able to buy it. It was like between 1 and 5 in the morning. That's when they mostly ran, especially between 3 and 5. And basically, they made a lot of money from that.
Oh.
My neighbor is a ham radio operator, so he built boxes to catch the signals. Yeah, I wouldn't doubt that because a lot of people were doing that back then.
Oh yeah. Gee, I know a lot of ham radio operators. I wonder why. Most of my friends are hams.
Mm. But anyway, that's they made them. Robin Bird made her money that way. Steve made his money that way. They made a lot of money. And
Just
as
my
the
two
industry
cents.
changed and the internet expanded, they expanded with it.
Yeah.
And I mean, not knocking on it because I'm talking about porn. Public access itself was great. Literally, we're looking today. You guys out there are watching us here on YouTube. We're on Rumble or on X.
It's public access
It's
basically.
public access. This was this
It's
was public access.
yeah.
this was the public access before the internet.
Do we get to go swing?
We cursed a little bit. We didn't get. I mean, there was because some of it we had to go by the FCC regulations,
Oh
obviously.
yeah. Well, if you're
But the thing about it is, we were able to curse. We were able to do certain things.
if you're
Depends on
so
what time of the day it was.
it very much does. Well, and also whether or not it's going out over broadcast airwaves.
Well,
So
technically,
so if
it
you
was
can
going through
pick it up with
cable.
if you can pick it up with a regular TV, then you have to follow FCC regulations. If it's just going out over if it's going out over a cable TV, which is a closed circuit system, then you don't have those restrictions. Most networks will still follow that as a guideline. They'll still follow, but they are not required to. That's why you can hear stuff occasionally on Fox or
Mhm.
what are they calling it? Ms. Now?
Isn't that-
Or has that not started yet?
No, it's supposed to start soon. I think it's supposed to start this month.
Mhm. Um, but like me, when I get on the radio, I have to follow the same rules. And on top of it, I'm not allowed to do anything that could be monetarily related. Like, well, anything that I could potentially profit from. Like I couldn't get on there and, you know,
Well,
so
public
sell
access.
sell widgets that are,
Mhm.
or
Well, public
whatever.
access, C and D, which I worked on mostly. We weren't able to run commercials. We couldn't sell product. We didn't. It was shows like this. We
Yeah.
talked. We took phone calls. People would call us up, call us dirt
East
bags,
of the
and
Rockies.
they would call us the weirdest shit in the world. I mean, we had a show. One of our guys had a show called the Crank Call Show,
Yeah.
and
Is
that
it like kind of
literally
like the
meant
Jerky Boys?
no, no,
That
no. This
that
was the
style?
opposite. This was the opposite. The guy would be sitting here like us, and be like, "Go ahead, call in 212 da 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 da
Oh.
da da." Yep. And he'd be like, "Hello, Crank Call Show," and he'll like, something, you're a real piece of shit. You know that.
Yeah.
People
So
will
so
call in to
so the
crank
opposite.
him.
So you were inviting because technically the other one is illegal.
Yeah.
The
No, you were
FCC does
inviting me.
regulate telephone. If calling somebody without the intent or with the intent of not actually conducing. But there's been some the Supreme Court and stuff like that. Been a lot of rulings. Speaking of which, there's a lot of rulings that are coming down of
Oh,
late.
oh yeah, there is. I'm just waiting for
Um,
the full list.
well, I heard gay marriage. They upheld that. They like no, we don't want to touch that. And I
No, no, they
understand
ain't
why
gonna
they
touch
would.
that yet.
I didn't think they were going to touch it at all. Anyways, I don't know why everybody.
I
Um,
don't. They're not gonna touch it until Trump's out of office. They're not going to come back to it because they already had the
And
abortion situation.
the thing is that Trump didn't have a problem with gay marriage either. He was
No, it
like,
has
I don't
it,
care. Has
it,
nothing to
it
do with
has
that.
it has nothing to do with that.
And
It has
and
nothing
and
to
yet
do with that.
the left would be sitting there saying, "Oh, blah blah blah," and it's like, no, 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 no. Trump didn't care if people were
You
gay.
know, and somebody was saying today. He says, you realize something? Who has the highest divorce rate of all the classes?
Uh, I don't know now. Probably. I'm gonna I'm gonna
Lesbians.
be wrong. I was gonna guess lesbians, but
Lesbian. No, no, it's lesbians, then heterosexuals, and then gay men.
hmm yeah. And you know what? More power to them. If
Mhm.
I'm a straight white male. I'm hunkered down in my basement, but I've been married for 22 years,
Yeah,
so
no, I have nothing, and I tell my viewers here, I have nothing against it. If you over radicalize the situation, then I'm going to have a problem. The
yeah.
whole situation with the kids in school and stuff like that. The trans issues and shit like that. I have a problem with that. If you want to dress like a guy or you want to dress like a woman, and you're old
Yeah,
enough,
that's
go,
you're
I'll
yeah.
go for it.
You're over
I've known a
18,
lot of
whatever.
them. I've known a lot of them. Some of them
There's a lot of straight guys that are cross dressers too.
yeah. That was the thing I was saying the other day, and I was saying this to Cam. I was like, there used to be a terminology called transvestites.
Yeah.
Whatever happened to that? Did they become transgender? I mean, that was like the whole insane thing.
Yeah. So, like
Yeah.
I said, I don't care when it comes to like tabletop, right? That's my big thing, right?
Right, right, right.
Tabletop, right? So, tabletop and ham radio, those are my two things. So, I don't. I've met a lot of people through the years in both of those, believe it or not. Um, I knew this guy back in Florida, and I swear to God, his significant other was a dude, because I'm pretty sure she had an Adam's apple, and it was but maybe I was wrong. I don't know. I
Hmm.
never asked. I didn't care. He was a nice guy, and I was new to the
Yeah.
hobby, and I was still pretty young, and all about meeting people and stuff like that, and
I mean,
and it doesn't bother me. I don't care.
no, most people it doesn't bother them. I mean, some people get a little nervous around them. Yeah, that's fine. That's okay. That's you
No, that
if you
doesn't
ever
mean I'm
seen
gonna.
something like this,
I, I'm
you
I'm
know,
not I'm not the guy that's gonna go hang out, in a gay bar with somebody. But you know, that's not my
yeah,
thing.
no,
But my
exactly.
wife would. My wife would be like, "Oh, sure, why not?"
Yeah, but
It's
the thing
fun.
is, I've worked with a lot of these people. My retail days, I worked for one of the big companies here in New York, and we had a lot of them. Some of them,
Yeah.
like I said, some of them were the nicest people you would work
Oh
with.
yeah.
They don't bother you. They use the proper, restrooms. If they were
Yeah.
a woman dressed like that used to be a man, they use the men's restroom and vice versa. But then you had a couple of ones, and I had one in my department, and he was nuts,
Yeah.
total blatant nuts. And basically, he would use the woman bathroom all the time, and the women were very uncomfortable with that. And this is long before all this shit that's going on down now. We're talking. This is the early 2000s. So
Yeah. Yeah.
let's switch the mentality that this was the 2000 era, early 2000 era, before
Yeah.
any of this, went crazy. He used to go around showing his privates to the gay staff,
Yeah. And
and the
that's.
gay staff did not want anything to do with him. Even the other ones that were cross dressers.
Hmm. Well, they kind of frown on a lot of the stuff. At
Well,
least
the
they
thing
did
about it is the
back
country
then.
he comes from
Yeah.
what he's doing is totally frowned. He would
Yeah.
be stoned to death,
Oh wow.
and
Well,
he's not from a Muslim country. Let's put it into this perspective before you say Muslim country. No, he's not from a
Well, that
Muslim
was the
country.
first thing that hit my
No,
my
not a
mind was
Muslim
it.
country. Not a Muslim country. I don't want to say what it is because I
Yeah,
don't
yeah,
want to
yeah. I
identify
get it.
this person.
I
But
get
the
it.
thing about it, because I know I have one or two people that know me from back then
Look,
that do watch the show. I don't want to identify them.
and here's the thing. Here's the thing, right? I think most of us that even on the conservative side, it's like, look, we don't really care what you do in your own private life, whatever. Just don't tell us what words we have to use. You don't you don't have a right to not be offended in this country. That's not a right. You have the right to say whatever you want, and if you don't like what somebody else says, you have the right to say back that you don't like what they say. But
I have to tell you.
if
I have to tell you a funny story on this before we go any further.
mhm.
This is the same person from that I told you, a little bit crazy on there. He had a
Yeah,
cousin who has pretty much gone through almost about the full transformation.
yeah,
Comes comes into our department in a bodysuit type, almost
like
um
skin tight type thing.
no, almost see through, practically
Oh,
see through,
jeez.
thong type situation, high heels and all that. So here's me and three of the other guys standing there. We're like on the other side of the floor, and just literally about maybe 5-10 feet away from us.
Yeah,
I'm standing there, and there's a couple of the girls who just basically, yeah, I can work with them, but they like, when we're ogling girls on there, they tend to chastise us. And
yeah,
she comes over and she's like, "So you're doing this again, aren't you? You're ogling the woman over there." And I go, "That ain't a girl. What are you talking about?" He says, "Take a walk over there." Because she didn't see the face. So she
right.
walks over, goes over around the counter, and pretends to pick up a box from there, and she looks up, and her eyes goes like right straight through her brain. Just literally, it comes back over. He says, "Never mind." Okay then, because literally from the backside, it was like if you were a guy down walking down the block, you're like, "Holy shit, look at that!" And then when you see the front end, it's like that joke,
How about the song
Quagmire.
"America"?
Quagmire, he
Treat
was
us
like,
like a
"Oh
lady.
my god, are you pre-op or not?" It's like, no PB. It's not the Caribbean. Trust me, it's not the Caribbean. Oh wait, no wait, is it the Caribbean? No, I can't say. I can't say. I can't really say.
You can't say.
I can't say. I don't want because I know somebody on there. But I want to bring back something that PB had said before, um, from the public access days, because I have to say this on there. The what is it? Miss Cleo started on public access. Yes. The company that I worked with, the production house I did with on there, um, they handle a lot of the psychics in New York, the telepsychics,
Yeah,
and that's why we were made fun. We were made fun of Saturday Night Live on the basis, like the new talk show, telepsychic, and all that. Guy named Morris Fonte. I used to know a long time ago. I used to be like a big psychic back in the day on there, and freaking Saturday Night Live used to knock on him a couple of times.
yeah,
But the guy who owned the station, I mean the production house, he bought into UHF channels as they were being sold off, both in New York and down in Florida. So it was like when I got to Florida in the '90s, he was like saying, "Oh yeah, you can come over and check out the studios in Florida." I was like, "Oh okay," because they were doing the telepsychics, all the time, 24/7. And what they did was they put up another. They made a studio C because we had A and B studios, and then we had the C studios, which was upstairs in the editing room. The C studios was much smaller. It was just literally to hold one person sitting in a chair, looking at a screen with a mic and saying, "Hey, let me tell you your fortune."
yeah.
You know. Well, I was holding off on this. I was hoping somebody else would be showing up. Cam, because Cam said he was
So,
going to show up. That he was going to try to show up on there. But let me bring this up. Um, I know you were watching Jason today over
yeah,
Sci-Fi for me,
yeah.
and you heard the because I sent them this article on there. Let me bring it up. Where is it here? Now, for those of you who are just hearing about this for the first time, this broke over the weekend. The U.S. rights. Now, mind you, these are the U.S. rights, not the international rights. of Roger Rabbit has reverted back to Gary K. Wolf, who's the creator.
Good for him.
Yeah, barely got it, to the point.
Just under the wire, right?
Just you have no idea that because the way this because I was watching. There's a video on the tail end of this, and Gary explains what he was doing with this. His lawyer is like, "You got to fill the paperwork out now. We got to do this right now. If not, forget, forget
It's
about it.
over. Yeah.
It's over. It's done."
Fait complete.
So basically, you have a point now that Gary has reverted. Disney has, and Disney was surprised that Gary was saying Disney wasn't expecting him to do this. He was
Right.
expecting for this to lax off. And now, he's able to move forward. There was like something. What was it? Hang on, where's gotta move my. He has a book, like Jessica Rabbit's Serious Business, which is they're basically he's going to be doing a live action Jessica Rabbit series or movie, whatever it is, which is going to be interesting to that point. Because I always did not like what Disney did with Jessica Rabbit as of late. That they covered her up.
Yeah.
And the thing about it is, and I would say, I'd say Jessica Rabbit is a femme fatale.
Oh yeah.
Total femme fatale.
Oh yeah.
Now the thing about it is, most people say, well, it's sexualizing. So, in a way, it's sex appeal, but it depends on there are different levels of femme fatales. If you're talking about ones that are like jumping into bed and stuff like that, yeah, that's the more closer, more current ones. What was it? Like basic Sharon Stone, Basic Instinct, and a couple others. To that point. Jessica Rabbit is more toward the older, like the movie Gilda, Rita Hayworth.
Okay.
That if you ever seen Gilda, oh God, she was so gorgeous. Back in the day, and that film is, that film is hot. It's hot to the touch because the things that she does in this, the tease, and some of and from what I understand, some of the stuff that they did for Roger Rabbit came from Gilda. Especially there's like, she doesn't, Jessica doesn't strip, but there is a scene that basically Gilda does where she's like taking off, her gloves and stuff like that, and
Yeah, and it's
she's
very.
teasing the guys, and it's similar
I
to
don't.
what
I don't know
Jessica
if I
Rabbit was
would
doing.
quite call it erotic, but certainly borderline.
Yeah, it's borderline.
Yeah.
But the thing is that the way Disney is putting it, it's like, okay, I understand you don't want this for kids, then don't use Jessica Rabbit.
Right.
The other thing is that I got, and this is the same thing that I have my things with the Splash Mountain situation is that they changed Splash Mountain, but they didn't add the voodoo into the storyline. They kept it out. Why? They do it for the Halloween stuff.
Well, and the really sad thing about that though is just it's just sad. That that whole I know they're like, "Oh, we don't want people to be offended and blah blah blah." And the thing is, it's actually almost offensive that they took out what they took out, you know?
Mm-hmm.
Because that was like a traditional that's like was a heritage story,
Yeah.
the story of Brer Rabbit and
Oh, I know. It just the thing is I've seen the movie. I've seen the movie.
Song of the South. Yeah,
Song of the South. I've seen Song of the South.
I had the vinyl album when I
Mhm.
was a kid, and I've seen the movie, and it was okay. It's
It's an okay
I
movie. It is.
enjoyed it. I
Yeah.
enjoyed it. Um,
I didn't
you know,
find it racist.
well, people misinterpret, and I think I hate to point fingers, but I think a lot of it's people up in your neck of the woods don't understand.
No, a lot of people, and not in my neck of the woods, in all neck of the woods, that they don't, that they're taught now, if it includes something about slavery or the Civil
But it
War or something like
didn't.
that,
But it didn't include slavery.
it didn't. No, it didn't.
It was
This,
it was a sharecropper.
yeah, it was a
Cooper
sharecropper,
Ramus was a sharecropper.
and the thing about
Which
it is, they were,
there were white people and there were black people. But the
yeah, and
stories,
there were poor white trash out there. You would say poor
yeah,
white trash.
yep,
There were people that were the little girls that she came from a family that was poorer than some of the black people that were on in the movie.
yeah. So it really it's misunderstood.
Oh yeah,
And
absolutely. And it's the
and
same thing with Roger Rabbit. It's the same thing.
and it actually it evolved from like a traditional African stories that were told. Just
Mhm.
they were basically African fairy tales is what they were.
Right.
That from yes, it does go back to you know days of slavery and pre-slavery, but that's the stories that they told their children about getting it to keep them from getting in trouble and this and that and the other. So there
Right.
is there but that's what fairy tales are. you know Brer Rabbit was always getting she being chased by the fox and this and that and the other, and
Yeah. Yeah. And that's yeah. There was a couple of things. Okay, there was the tar situation. What they do, what they call it.
the tar
And that
babies, yeah.
the tar babies and shit like that. And it's like, yeah, but it's part of the story. And I always keep saying this on my show. With a lot of
This is
these
your
people
show.
that they say they call this stuff racist, it's it's just a story.
And who loved that ride the most? A lot of people of African descent loved that
Absolutely.
ride. That was probably one of their most favorite rides because they had that was their representation, if you will. Now they have
Exactly.
Tiana.
But
There's no
Tiana's
there's no mountains in Louisiana, folks.
yeah,
Sorry,
exactly.
there's not.
No,
There's a lot of bayou and a lot of swamps, but there is no big giant mountain.
they could have built their own Tiana's ride, which was like a swamp ride,
Yep,
similar like the Avatar ride,
yep, and it would have been a lot better.
and it would have been much better on that. And you could have added the freaking I can't remember his name, the guy who was the voodoo priest.
I've never
There
seen
was
that movie. I don't have any desire to go see.
well, no, it's
It's Princess and the Frog, I think it is.
yeah, it's Princess and the Frog. He goes, they have that song. He goes, I have friends on the other side,
But
which
the
is a
the
great song. Which is a great song for that
but
movie.
but what's really sad is classic iconic Disney song Zip Dee Doo Dah
Yeah, it's
is
removed.
from Song of the South.
I heard a story that when they started taking down Splash Mountain, they have the piano players on Main Street.
Yeah.
They were, from what I understand, I don't know if it's true, but from what I understand, they were told never to play the song again. That if they get asked, it says we're not allowed to play it. Which I believe, Disney's trying to wipe that off. They don't understand how much of a gem right now, 2025. They do not understand how much of a gem and a way of making a crap load of money off Song of the South. Right now, they can go, we're going to 4K. If I was president of Disney Corp, I said, listen, we're yanking Song of the South out. We're going to 4K it, re-release it for a limited time in the theaters.
Yep.
We're going to have sing-alongs with it too. Like the other, some of the other movies, they have the sing-alongs and stuff like that. Sing-along types. And then we're going to release it on 4K in a box set with a lot of artwork, include maybe the novel itself that it comes from, a copy of the novel and all that. and they would make buku dollars.
Oh yeah, they would.
They don't see that in their vault right now, and it's not only not only Song of the South. There's a ton of other films. Fantasia just celebrated its anniversary just this past week,
Really?
and it's come and gone. Hardly nothing talked about it. I mean, there were some things that were released, merch wise, like T-shirts and stuff like that, but that's about it.
That's horrible.
Nothing other than that. Why? Because they had a scene where there was like, it's questionable. It's a caricature. It's not sitting there saying, "Well, we don't like this particular minority, so we're going to write this cartoon on that." Every cartoon out there is based on some stereotype. And the thing about it is, people got to get over, especially stuff from the 30s, the 40s, the 50s, the 60s. They got to get over all that stuff. When they say we can't
a
play
wise
this,
man once said, "Those that forget history, you know."
it tends to repeat itself. Exactly.
Yeah, and all you're trying to do is do
Oh,
that.
look who showed up. Hi, Jeanette.
She can't hear you because she's standing next to me.
Oh, okay. Well, anyway, hi.
She might hear it in 5 seconds.
Yeah. But yeah, no, history will repeat itself. There's
Yep.
nothing wrong with a lot of this stuff. And getting back to the Roger Rabbit stuff. The thing about, how sexy Jessica was, the situation that's from the period. The same thing with Betty Boop. They tried to censor Betty Boop for the longest. And still to this day they try to censor her.
Yeah.
Because she's, technically she's half naked.
Yep.
And it gets me. It just really gets me when I see all this history, especially in animation, that's left behind because of questionable animation. That's the reason why there's 4 or 5, I think is it 4 or 5 Dr. Seuss books that are no longer available to buy.
Yeah.
If you could find them, you're going to spend a lot of money on them. Why are they being removed? Because they're questionable characters. But they're not real world. It's a caricature of a different world.
Yep.
It's the same thing with gaming. Gaming and with Lord of the Rings, orcs.
Yeah. Oh.
Yeah, exactly.
Well,
how many times you hear it says, "Well, orcs are blacks." That's what
no, they're not.
They're not.
They never were. They never were.
Never mentioned. Anyone mentioned. Only somebody out there saw an orc that was dark colored skin on there and said, "Oh my God, they're representing someone who's black." And no, they're not.
And they're not. And drow aren't black either.
Exactly.
They're not even humans.
Yeah, they're not human. They don't exist.
Yeah.
But I'm glad that Gary's got his his stuff back. I mean, he deserves to continue with this project. And
Yep.
I hope the best for him. Because I mean, there's some good stuff out there that he could put together. He has a lot of novels, a lot of he wouldn't mind working back with Disney. He already said it on the interview.
I think he's crazy for that, but
well, the one that got me was like, yeah, I'm okay to work with Kathleen Kennedy again. I was like, oh my God, no, please,
no, please don't. No,
because I know you had asked. Was it you that asked, or someone else? Is like Kathleen Kennedy was an executive producer on Who Framed Roger Rabbit.
Yeah, I'm sure she was.
She was an executive producer.
She probably got lots of cups of coffee.
Yeah, no. She was not producer. She was executive producer.
Yeah,
yeah. So she didn't have any.
So she got the really good coffee.
She got the really good coffee.
Okay. Because she sure as hell doesn't have any talent.
Mm-hmm.
So.
But my question now is like Eddie Valiant. If they're going to use Eddie Valiant again, Who would they put in the role?
I don't know.
I mean, they can go for a bit of a change, but they would have to have someone rough to play it.
Yeah.
Bob Hopkins was great.
Yes, he was.
He was. I mean, he's a great actor. I mean, I've seen a
I don't
lot of
even know.
movies with.
I don't even know who could compare to that.
Yeah, exactly. Well, no, you find someone that can be, you know, it's a little older and that basically, that just can rough himself up and look, like an alcoholic detective. That Marlowe type situation.
Yeah.
The Humphrey Bogart Marlowe, Philip Marlowe type of look. To that point. Because that's if they do would decide to give an Eddie Valiant story. And
Yeah.
like I said, I'm surprised Disney allowed it to be reverted. I was shocked when I heard this weekend. I said to myself, "Wow, was somebody sleeping at the helm at Disney?"
Probably.
But then again, they don't know what to do with Roger Rabbit. They don't know what to do with the Muppets. To that point.
They almost. I wish they would revert the Muppets back to
That's
the
dead
Henson
already.
family.
They've already torn that. Oh, you mean back to the Hensons?
Yeah.
I don't know if that falls under
Doesn't
the
it,
35-year rule.
his yeah.
Is that under the Can that be under the 35-year rule? They missed out on that. It might be they missed out on that.
Hmm.
But Henson has moved through. The Henson Corp has moved forward with a lot of stuff.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry about that. My chair is like slipping and sliding over here. But yeah, no. But like I said, good luck. Good luck with Gary on this one, man. It's it's going to be a long, hard road. But supposedly they've already been working on this for over a year.
Well, I wish him the best. I mean, it's I can't believe what they've,
What they've done, to that
yeah.
point, you know. But uh, it is a rough week so far.
No. Who else have we lost?
Nothing that I've heard of yet.
Hmm.
But
That's good.
it's like I have that feeling something's about to drop on the other foot.
Yeah.
And one thing I'm glad on, and I'm hopefully hold on that CBS stays with this. Where are we here? Hold on a minute. Here we go. Oops, that's not working. Hold on. Why is that not working? Ooh, that screen is not working. Why is that not working? Where are we here? Da, 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 da. Okay, there we go. Let's see if it works now.
Hmm.
Well, you probably, because I know they talked about this last week.
I did what?
No, they talked about this last week. That the Star Trek Kelvin line
Yeah, it's dead.
is dead.
Good.
Hopefully. I hope. Because it's just like, I never liked the Kelvin timeline.
Kill the Kelvin timeline. Oh, what is it? I don't know.
Yeah, because, you have a situation here that for the longest, that Bad Robot, J.J. Abrams, um, Everybody that's involved in this has just really ruined the TV series and the movies.
Yeah.
And it's just, and the thing about it is that they know the fans does not like this, but yet they continue it on. And that's the problem in Hollywood, is that they look for the mass audience because they say, well, if I get a bigger audience, I'm going to make some money. No, you're not.
No, you're not.
You're not. Perfect example. The best example, we talked about it tonight. Anime. Anime movies are making money.
Yep.
And it's not been circulated to the mass audience.
Right.
It's to the fans. I remember back when I was younger, Wrath of Khan came out. The fans
Right.
were lined up around the corner to see this movie.
Yeah.
I remember that. I had it. My mother got mad at me on this one because I ended up getting the late show on this one. I ended up coming out at 1:00 in the morning.
Oh,
that
man.
came out. I was still a kid, and at that time period, I was dating this girl that we had broken up, and then we got quietly back together again. And my mother was like, because when we broke up, she was like, she broke her heart. Now you don't go back to her or anything like that. And then my mother saw me with her, and I was like, oh God, my mom's gonna be mad at me. And of course, she didn't talk to me for 2 days.
Your mom?
Mom, yeah. I love my
God
mom.
bless moms.
Yeah, God bless mom.
I miss my mom.
Yeah, my mom is she's living with my brother right now because she has Parkinson's and she can't really care for herself these days now.
Yeah.
'Cause we already had an incident in the place where she lived where basically she didn't get out of bed for about a day.
Well, that's not good.
Yeah. Yeah, and she stopped eating and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And she's got to gain a lot of weight back still to this day. But nevertheless, is with the Abrams thing, all these stories they kept putting out, they kept rebooting and rebooting and rebooting to the situation.
Right.
Guess who had the better Star Trek?
Well, not anything Kurtzman's done.
Not
or JJ.
anything Kurtzman done, not anything CBS done, not anything Paramount done as of late. YouTubers,
Yeah.
content creators had the better Star Trek than CBS.
Yeah, but they went after them, so
Well, no, that was the fault of I'm trying to remember the name of the particular one on there that went a little bit further to the point where he was selling T-shirts and stuff like that. And
talking about Axanar.
Axanar, thank you, Axanar. Yeah, that was Axanar.
Yeah,
because Vic Mignogna did not pull that stuff. Vic had a great Star Trek series. If you didn't watch Star Trek Continues. And still, the set still exists in Georgia. It's like on the border. It's almost on the border to Georgia into Florida. And you can go there. They have tours.
Right.
And you can go see the sets. And they're working sets. You can sit there, you can contract them and say, you can go to Vic, the company that owns that says, hey, listen, I want to do a mini Star Trek movie. You pay them up and everything like that. They get the sets running up for you. I mean, Axanar has the better sets, but because they're more toward the proper, the current tech, what you see on the Star Trek series. But the ones that Vic has are the ones from the 1960s.
Oh, he's got the real sets.
Oh, he's got he built these. These were built from scratch. In other words, he built. If you haven't seen this, he's built the original sets. Vic plays Kirk, and he has also James Doohan's son on this. He plays Scotty,
Right. Okay.
and they've had special guest stars from the original Star Trek series. Like there was one episode. Is it from Who Gods Destroy? The one with Apollo,
Yeah.
right?
I get
They
it.
went out and got the actor who plays Apollo, and they rehashed the story that Apollo returns, but he comes to ask for help from Kirk. That the gods are dying and stuff like that. You know, and he comes for his help on there. I'm trying to remember what else on there. They rehashed the yeah, PB's like yeah. Star Trek continues. Best fan fiction I've seen. Yep, exactly. Yeah, they rehashed the mirror uh episode, the mirror episode,
Yeah.
but from after Kirk, the good Kirk leaves the bad Enterprise. They take it to the point where what happens when Kirk leaves and he leaves all that information with the evil Spock? Does Spock decide to do what Kirk suggests to do? And you get to see that whole thing play out. And it's very well done. And then what is it? The finale. The finale was a great. Oh God, the finale. It was a two-parter. They went to go rehash the original pilot episodes, where Boldly Go where no man's gone before.
Yeah.
Where the what is it? The guy got the telepathic powers.
Yeah.
Yeah, they go back rehash that, find out that since that incident, Starfleet has been playing around with. There's like a group in Starfleet that's been playing around with those powers on other people,
Interesting.
and they basically Kirk has to go after them with the help, and they got the daughter of the actress that played the role. Do you remember the Enterprise incident where Kirk steals the cloaking device?
uh that
The one where
obviously
Spock
the
falls in love with the Romulan commander.
yeah, kinda. Yeah, they I kinda
The
remember
woman who played the Romulan commander, they rehashed her character.
Jason would be Apollo, wouldn't
Let's
he?
see. Hang on one second. I think. Yep. Here we go. PB's got it right on target tonight. Yeah. They revisited the ESP people from the original series and had uh, Joanne Linvad daughter play her mom's role as the Romulan commander, Sharvak. Yeah, and she looks. Oh God, she looks like her mom. Literally, I mean, really, truly, in the makeup and everything. And the best part is how they end this, because this is like the time this episode aired is the time the CBS hammer came
Yeah.
down. So this was like the last episode they were able to do, and it ends with the beginning of the change over to Star Trek: The Motion Picture. And basically was like Kirk was being promoted, and he was wearing the new uniform at the end of the episode. Yeah, the Enterprise incident, secret mission to steal the cloaking device. Yep, yep, that was a good episode too. That they had Kirk was going in, that he was a little bit. They felt that he was like a little bit insane, and basically what it was, all it was that basically him and Spock had planned with Starfleet to go in and steal that cloaking device. But there were other great episodes on Star Trek Continues. There was like a whole slew of them. I mean, they've done with the Orion Syndicate. The one they had one that was new. That basically they invented a new monster, and the special effects with it was fantastic.
Really?
That this monster crash. I mean, this monster crashed into the Enterprise,
Wow.
and it was running around the Enterprise. And I mean, the effects were really, really good. I mean, Vic had take it to the next level.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
wish I
PB,
had
that was
seen
my
some of that
favorite
stuff.
too. You can
Yeah,
see it now. You can
I
still
think I
see it.
watched.
It,
I think
it
I
is
watched one
available.
of them, but you got to find.
Yeah, it is still available. The CBS couldn't stop that because basically the lawsuit had stated anything that was produced prior to the finalization of the suit can stay. But see, the mistake was with CBS and Paramount is they had a chance to sit with these guys and say, because and you look at Axonar, the production level of Axonar. Production actually Axonar was fantastic as well. They couldn't sit with the guy from Axonar and Vic Mignogna and come up with a new series. They
Well, I know,
couldn't
like
sit there
I
and
said,
say,
I know Grant
"Hey,
Imahara
you
was
know,
involved with Axonar, and I mean,
right."
the connections he had with Adam, who had done some stuff with it. Yeah, I mean, they could have done so much. For all I know, Savage might have been part of it. I don't know the whole backstory on that.
The thing about it is with the CBS situation, excuse me, anybody that was involved with Star Trek on
Yeah,
CBS and Paramount Project, were told do not work with anybody online on any fan service
yeah,
stuff. But that didn't stop anyone.
yeah.
Chekhov has he had his series. John DeLance had came aboard Star Trek Continues, which was another good episode. The guy that played
Of
Q.
course.
Yeah, they landed on a planet that had no color.
Hmm.
No. In other words, the planet was black and white.
Interesting.
They did not understand the terminology. It was the planet itself did not have any everything you saw
It was
it looked
all
like a black and white
monochromatic,
movie.
including
Yeah,
including
they just
them.
literally they beamed down. They beamed down. It went from color to black and white.
Question is, how do they explain it?
I'm trying to remember how to explain it. They do explain it very well.
Something to do with the atmosphere, blocking, blocking,
Something to
blocking,
that nature. It
blocking.
was yeah, something like to that nature. I mean, they resolved it in the end, but it's just like basically when you look at it and you're like, oh man, that is brilliant. You land on the world where you're like, holy shit, what happened to my color of my skin? You know? Yeah, that lawsuit said any fan fiction had to at least 30% differential from the original series. Everything after Star Trek Continues was struck. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep. Yep. They couldn't do a full version of Axonar. They couldn't do any more Star Trek Continues. Vic just wrapped everything up. He said, no, that's it. I'm not going to go any further with this series.
Yeah. It's
But see, there's so much that Paramount and CBS can do with this series, and they just don't pull the trigger. They have the capability of going out to find the proper writers, some of them from the novelizations, some of them from YouTube, and to sit there and say, listen, I need um a new show. We just need a new
yeah.
show. Hang on. But yeah, there's so much they could do. To the point that like for example, I said this on I think it was on Jason's,
Yeah.
that they could have done rehashed the Delta Quadrant. That basically we can go back and say, now we have a new type of warp engine that can get us there faster. That we should that they should take, and this is coming from me. This part of it's from me. That they should take the the mining colony that they left Neelix and Voyager in, for that to become like the hub, sort of the Deep Space Nine type hub for the Delta
Right.
Quadrant. I would call it I would call the series Star Trek Delta One, and basically you would have ships leaving outward, going, into the Delta Quadrant. Because from one technical aspect, the Borg are no longer pretty much in charge of a good chunk of the Delta Quadrant anymore, after what happened in the finale of Voyager.
Right.
They probably might have split into factions, and that'll be an interesting, to challenge on that, because you have the Borg members that were part of Unimatrix Zero. If you remember that
Hughes
episode.
people.
The what?
Wasn't it Hughes people?
No, not Hughes people. No, back on Voyager, there was a place where a lot of the Borg, from their mind, they basically the essence of who they were originally, were able to appear as
As
themselves.
themselves. Oh yeah. Something had gotten broken, so they appeared that way to each other.
Right, exactly.
And Janeway went in and
Janeway went in on that. When they destroyed it, when the Queen destroyed Unimatrix One, basically the Borg that were there, their minds reverted back to themselves. In other words, they were no longer Borg.
Yeah.
So basically, they were able to, move out on their own. And there was a couple of them that were way out of range, like the one that 709 was in love with. He was on the fringe of the outer, toward the Gamma universe.
Right.
Way, way out there. That it would take a long time to get back. So in a way, you can hash a story about that if you do a Delta Quadrant storyline. The other half is you do have a group of people, and this goes on to Voyager again, that used to be Borg. They removed their Borg attachments, and they're living on a planet which basically they still use the Borg technology of connection. That one mind.
Yeah.
Situation. That was the one with Chakotay had crash landed on that planet.
Yep.
You can go back, rehash that. I mean, there's so many stories that they can do. Go back and rehash a lot of the, what is it called? I can't remember the race. The first race they came across on there. I'm trying to remember the name. Damn, I can't remember the name of it. But yeah, it was the first people that they ended up meeting, besides Neelix and that they ended up like throughout most of the series, and Seska, one of their people who happened to be a Cardassian and decides went to go work with them. We can rehash that because basically Chakotay's son is out there still.
Yeah.
There's like I said, there's so much that CBS can do, and they don't pull the trigger on it. They go by, saying, "Well, we gotta go for the masses." The masses is no, don't go for the masses.
That's not what made this show popular.
Exactly. Go, I tell them, go look at the video footage of people waiting online in the 1970s and 80s for Star Trek and Star Wars. Listen to how they talk. Listen to what they say. These are the fans. That's the ones you want.
Yep. And they will sell it to the masses.
They will sell it out to the masses.
Yep.
Why do you think Walking Dead did so well for itself in the masses?
Yep.
Because people was sitting there and telling people. Even I told people. They said, "Oh, I don't like the zombie." Well, the zombie is only the secondary part of the characters. The whole premise is, what would you do to survive something of this nature? What would you give up as far as your humanity to live in a world like this? It's just it amazes me. It amazes me to this point that these guys don't think these things. You want to make money. This is how you're going to make money. You think you can make better money without the fans?
No. Not
No,
a chance.
not a chance. Not a chance at all. To the point. You know.
Yeah.
Because a lot of these people, these the people that really don't watch Star Trek on there, they're the same people who voted for Zohan. They're the same people who uh, basically want socialism. They basically, these are not the typical viewers. They don't take to the concept of femme fatale. They don't take the concept of an action flick. They don't take
Yeah.
the point of a horror movie.
You know, you just got to wonder what are these people thinking? I I don't. Maybe they're not thinking. I don't know.
It's the
I
education. It's the education.
I guess I I
You
don't get it.
know, it's you have the standards now that you have all these people that are basically and you listen to them. You listen to what they're saying, and it's like saying, what the fuck are you saying? What are you talking about?
Yeah.
You don't know what you're saying. And most of the time, like I was listening the other day that someone was talking about, oh, it's great that for socialism and communism, this country should be socialist communist because I could sit down all day and just write poems.
That's not what happens.
That's not what happens.
You're going to be out toiling in the fields or
Yeah, exactly.
cutting down trees or digging ditches or
They think it's a
picking up
utopia.
trash or whatever.
They think it's a utopia.
Nothing is free.
No,
Nothing is ever free. And giving up your freedom is never, ever a good idea
no, it
because
never is.
you'll never, it'll cost you infinitely more to try and recapture that freedom later on.
And what's the first thing they always go after for? Your speech,
Yeah.
your
Yep.
entertainment, your artwork. It's just all your artistic expression. All of this is what they go for every time
Yeah.
throughout the history. When you talk about book burn, and I laugh. They said, well, they're taking these books out of school. They're doing an old fashioned book burning. Says that's not a book burning.
No, they're not burning books.
Nobody's burning books,
They're not burning books. They're
in
not. They're
2025.
taking them out of elementary schools
They're
or
taking
middle
it away from
schools
the
if they're not.
curriculum.
Yeah, if they're not age appropriate,
If you
or
feel you want your child
go
to
to a
read
library,
that
they'll
book,
have it.
go to a regular library or go to Amazon or go to Barnes and Noble or your local
Yep.
bookstore and you'll find it.
Yeah.
I grew up with the
And a lot of these they're taking them out of the classroom. They're not taking them out of the libraries in the schools either.
no, yeah, exactly. And the thing is, when I was growing up, people were shocked that I was reading Catcher in the Rye in high school.
Wasn't that like standard reading in
By
high
the
school?
'80s, it was.
Yeah.
By the '80s, it was. They made it standard reading Before
I mean,
that, it wasn't.
I read Dune in, 8th grade.
Well, Dune was a different situation on that. But the thing is that you had like Glass Menagerie, Kill a Mockingbird. Trying to remember the rest of them. It was like a whole list of books that just like that I had read in high school, and people were like, "Really, you read that?" So what do you mean? What is wrong with that? When I was in school, they didn't have that.
Yeah.
It wasn't appropriate. It's not that it wasn't appropriate. It's that some of the subject matters, would be deemed better in high school.
Sure.
Obviously,
Yeah.
obviously, not in grade school.
A lot of subject matter like that. Yeah.
When they did the manga book Assassination Classroom, they said we got to get rid of it out of the high school libraries. I said why? And it was like it was one mother. It was just one mother that complained. She says, "I don't feel high school kids have the mentality to understand it." What? Really?
Then that says something about your kids,
I
not.
said, yeah, exactly. That's what I'm saying. Does your kid read at a 5-year-old level? Because Assassination Classroom is pretty clear and concise. Happens to be a good story. A story that we're basically kids that are outsiders that are being taught to be good kids. Yes, there is part of the story is that they have to try to kill their teacher, but the thing about it is the teacher is not a human being, and
Yeah.
the teacher basically welcomes the attack because basically he says, "Listen, I just want to teach these kids, but later when I'm finished, I'm going to destroy the world. But if you want to stop me, I'll give you the means to stop me." And he gave them all the weapons that would be, the type classification of weapons, which are made only to hurt him, not to hurt human beings.
Yeah. I've never read it, but
The anime is fantastic. You can watch it. You can watch the anime. The anime is very good. They're about to come out with, I think, another season of it. To that point. Now I can understand certain title lines like High School DxD, Redo the Healer, a couple other ones on mangas. I would not put those in high school in the high school because they're a little bit further, a little bit more advanced, they more sex appeal to the point, or as they call it, not hentai, isekai, not isekai. Oh god, I can't remember on there, but it's a borderline hentai.
yeah. Yeah, that's a little bit outside
It's
of
a
the.
little bit sad. A Goblin Slayer, for example, because they put to the point, and one of the reason why it's controversial is it's basically this is a world where basically this guy's hunting goblins, and the goblins tend to kidnap girls so they can have their babies. So they're sexually forced. But you don't see this. There's only one episode. Now I can't speak for the whole entire manga series, but from what I've seen from the 2 seasons that I've seen from Goblin Slayer, there's been pretty much one episode which basically they tore up a girl's clothes and they were about to mount on her and all that, but the Goblin Slayer shows up and freaking kills them all. I mean, the first episode is you want brutal. This is a brutal episode. Something like George R. Martin would write, because it's about what is it? It's about a the episode opens that it's a bunch of young adventurers goes into a cave. They go into one of these dungeon caves and they
Yeah.
get attacked by goblins. And the one guy that's with them, he's like, he pulls out his sword. His sword is too freaking big. He has a long sword with him. The worst thing to have in a cave that has a low ceiling. What happens? He pulls the sword out and the sword like ping, it hits the top of the ceiling and the freaking goblins jump him and kill him. And the other girl, she pisses in her pants and runs off on there. The one of the other girls, she ends up they're trying to drag her off to be impregnated, and then the other girl, they're about to do it to her. That's when Goblin Slayer shows up, and she's been poisoned badly because of the arrows, and there's no way of saving her, so she ends up dying also.
Yeah.
She ends up dying. The other girl who pissed in her pants ends up becoming friends with Goblin Slayer. She becomes part of his group. They go on adventures together. The other girl that was taken off, she was saved, and literally, she would never went adventuring ever again.
Yeah. Yep.
But I love the freaking the abridged version of it. Because they have like Dragon Ball abridged.
Yeah.
They do Goblin Slayer abridged. Goblin Slayer Bridge is freaking hysterical because it's like, I love to kill goblins. He goes, you know what I want to do? Kill goblins? That's right. They give him like the worst voice ever, the worst voiceover ever for a character. And that's all he does is talking about goblins, which in a way in the regular animated series, that's the way he talks. I mean, he doesn't talk crazy. He just like he talks. Yeah, we need to kill goblins. That's all I do is kill goblins. He said, "Don't you want to kill a dragon?" I said, "I just want to kill the goblins first," because he has a backstory that he had a family member killed by goblins. So he was always bent on revenge on the goblins.
Right.
But like I said, these are stories that are out there. To that. What did Jeanette read? She said, I read Edgar Allan Poe, Telltale Heart. Love that book. I do love that book. I love anything with Edgar Allan Poe on that. But yeah, these are the stories on there. Oh, did I say this to you? I don't know if I said this to you. And Jeanette, I think Jeanette would like this. They opened a horror bookstore in New York.
Really?
In Brooklyn. The Twisted Spine.
Oh, that's cool.
And they just literally, this is what they just sell horror books.
Yeah.
Yeah, of everything. They sell Poe. They sell Stephen King. They up and down on anything from old to new. And it's a little store.
Probably Lovecraft is in there.
Oh yeah, no, they have Lovecraft. They have great Lovecraft in there. They got a nice section of Lovecraft. But it's nice to see that the bookstore is starting to resurrect once again. And again, you have to take for granted that manga had something to do with that. Because if you go into bookstores these days, like you go to Barnes and Noble has a gigantic section of manga versus comic books. Comic books has 2 shelves. Manga has like 2 aisles.
That's crazy too. That tells you something about the state of our domestic comic books.
Yeah, well, that's comic books are not comic books like they used to be.
No.
I mean, I used to go comic book stores all the time back in the 80s.
Yeah.
I spent my weekends, my Wednesdays and my weekends at Forbidden Planet and at Midtown Comics, at St. Mark's. I used to jump around a lot. St. Mark's is gone. Jim Haley's is gone.
See, and you were so lucky to be surrounded by so many options.
Oh yeah.
A lot of us weren't.
Yeah, I know. Obviously,
today.
Yeah, no, even today. Excuse me. Back in the day, we had these places all of us used to go hang out. And this is like at the early days of Comic Cons.
Right.
Comic Cons weren't Comic Cons like they are today. Comic Cons were like you went to go get comic books. In other words, it was like a flea market for comic books. But Yeah, no, you have to, like I said, you have to give it up to manga that basically why this turnover of books, and this is why Barnes and Noble is making a major comeback. What's the one reason why Barnes and Noble crashed out after when Amazon kicked in and stuff like that? Why did it burn out? It's because basically they catered generally to the masses. Like we
Right.
were talking about the movies, you can't cater to the mass; you have to cater to the fans. Bookstores, the real, you know, here in New York, Shakespeare, Strand, all the bookstores that are out here, they cater to the neighborhood.
Oh yeah. So by the way, happy birthday, Marines. 250th anniversary of the Marine. Yeah, I just saw something here. It says, "Dang Marines, tried to get craft supplies for my kids, but they took all the crayons for their potluck." I have a buddy of mine who's a Marine, and once a Marine, always a Marine. Who, yeah, yeah,
What's Jeanette saying? We use Cliff Notes. I never used Cliff Notes.
And I saw another one from somebody that was in the Navy. I think it was Dad Bod veteran that I had reposted. I don't know if you ever caught his stuff. He's kind of funny. Um, it said something about happy birthday, Marines from your daddy. They had like an aircraft carrier
Mm,
and a whole fleet of ships. Uh,
yeah. Well, tomorrow Veterans Day.
mhm.
See how the parade goes on there because I don't know because with the shutdown and everything. 'Cause I don't know how many more days they're gonna keep this closed.
Well, I'm waiting for the breaking news that it's over.
Well,
I mean,
technically, it is over. They got the votes. They got the 60 votes.
right, but that was a test.
No, that was the full one. They just got to go to the
Oh,
final.
it's
It,
official.
it,
Hold on a
it
second.
is it?
Well, let's see.
Hang on, let me go to X.
This is posted at 9:29 p.m. Yeah, just the House has to return. And I know
Yeah,
I had
that's it.
saw
Yeah, that's
something.
it.
I had
It's
seen something earlier about from our one of our congressmen here in Tennessee saying that he got notice to return to D.C. So
yeah, yeah,
presumably
yeah.
for
They're
a
gonna
vote.
finalize it. They just got to finalize it. That's all. That's all that's needed left.
Yeah, they just gotta, you know, whatever changes were made as part of this agreement has to go back through, and then boom, it's done. So, all right.
I guess Cam forgot about us, even though I see him posting online.
Yeah, he does that.
Oh, here's a breaking. FCC Chairman Brendan Carr calls on YouTube and Disney to end ESPN and ABC blackout. Good luck with that.
Yeah.
They're going to have to sue both companies.
Well, I did see that they were going to offer discounts. YouTube TV was going to offer discounts if the thing kept going.
Well, that's all companies are supposed to do that.
But to be quite frank, the reason I canceled YouTube TV, not YouTube now, mind you, I saw my YouTube Premium, but it just was not getting my value anymore.
No, it's not, and they're raising the price again. I mean, we just said Paramount's raising their prices. YouTube already announced they're raising theirs.
Well, when I that's why I canceled YouTube TV is because I wasn't getting anything for it.
See, the thing is, I tell people,
I can get all the local channels for free. I have an antenna.
yeah, exactly. If you have an antenna, ladies and gentlemen out there that are watching right now, if you have an antenna, indoor or outdoor, just hit scan on the channels. You will see you'll have plenty of channels on there.
Oh yeah.
Now,
By the way, by
yeah,
the way, on top of that, let me and I think I've said this before on your show. there is a law, a federal law that says you have the right to put up an antenna. Period. They cannot. Your landlord. It doesn't matter if you rent or if you live in a homeowners association or what. They have to approve it.
Yeah,
They
but
are
it
not.
depends on the height and regulations of it. See, the thing about it is, most people don't realize. Yeah, you can put up a satellite dish, you can put up an antenna, all to that nature. But if it's not within the code enforcement of the building, then
They have
then
to.
you
They have to provide you a place to do it.
oh no, yeah. But say like you want to put up a larger antenna that takes up about another 2-3 feet.
Yeah, they can. They can. They can. They can have reasonable limitations, but it's.
Yeah,
But if
exactly.
anybody. But they cannot tell you no.
No, no, no. Oh, you're talking
We're
about the
trying.
HOAs, yeah.
It's no. Yeah. It's a federal law, and if it covers the everywhere in the United States. Doesn't matter. No city, state, or municipality can say no.
Yeah, but that's in
Well,
home.
homeowners
Remember, that's in
association.
homes.
No,
No,
no.
for apartment. No, hear me out. For apartment buildings, it's a little bit different because I went through this myself.
It's called OTARD.
I know
OTARD.
it's OTAR,
Over the air reception devices.
right?
Yeah.
State to state, there are some issues that basically because of for example, New York. Perfect example, New York. New York, you don't need to put an outside antenna. Do you know why?
If you're in New York City,
If you're in New York City.
but
Even
if you live
no,
in
even if you're
upstate
in
or
the outer
Western New
boroughs.
York, if
Even
you
if
live
you're in
in
the outer boroughs, if you here out here on Staten Island,
yeah, but they're
when the Twin Towers was around, Twin Towers was one major signal path. The Chrysler Building and the Empire State Building were also signal paths for
right,
certain,
right,
for
because
the
they had
networks.
transmitters
Yeah,
towers
they're
up there. Yeah,
they're towers. When you get out to the rural areas, like down by you, your transmission towers are way far in between.
no, well, yeah, but they're on mountaintops, so
They're on mountaintops, but still, you do have the dead like a cell phone. You do have a dead zone.
sure. And bigger is better with antennas. Yeah,
Right,
up to a
exactly,
point.
exactly. Because you and also how far you can get because basically you have to remember if you just go out and buy a cheap antenna that will handle roughly about 25 miles max.
Depending on
Depending
height.
on
Depending on
yeah,
height.
depending on height. There are antennas out there that will handle the 50 to 100-mile range.
Oh
They're a
yeah.
little bit bigger and they're meant for outdoors. So there's a couple of them for indoors also. That you just put them against your window. They're flat. They're like flat like a pancake. You just put them up against the window, and you get the signal. I have
Yeah.
one of those. And I pick up a good signal.
Yeah.
But yeah, like I was saying, if you have your antenna, you get all your programming away. The other half is you got Pluto TV, Tubi TV, Roku TV, Stir TV. What's the other one? Sling TV. Sling TV free. Now people don't realize out there that Sling TV has a free version,
Right.
which has a lot of channels. And you just, you have if you have an app for it, you can do it. Hold on a minute. What's the other one?
Okay, so here's the rule. Here's the official rule. You may give you the link. I'll drop
Yeah,
the
go
link.
ahead. Drop the link.
I'll give it to you in private chat because I don't think I have it. Mod privileges on your channel. But a dish antenna that is 1 meter, that's 39.37 inches or less in diameter, unless you live in Alaska and then any size dish.
Hang on, I got it right here.
Or an antenna that is 1 meter or less in diameter or diagonal measurement and is designed to receive video programming services via broadband radio service. That would be wireless cable. That's like fixed wireless. Or three, an antenna designed to receive local television broadcast signals. And let's see. In addition, they may be by the rule they may be mounted on masts to reach the height needed to receive or transmit an acceptable quality signal. What they call maintaining line of sight, or view satellites in the case of dishes. Masts higher than 12 feet above the roof line may be subject to local permitting requirements for safety purposes. So they can have safety rules in there, but
Exactly.
um, and masts that extend beyond an exclusive use area may not be covered. So, but
And that thing is that mass that goes outward on there. That's on a lot of the really good ones.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
So,
'Cause I know there's a lot of people out there that they say, well, I got to get a permit for it.
and any requirement to pay a fee to a local authority for a permit is considered unreasonable because such permits are generally prohibited.
That they
Yeah,
should use on the lawsuit on ATSC 3.0
yeah. They can't.
because they want a DRM ATS 3.0.
And they cannot require. It's also considered unreasonable for a government community association, that would be like a HOA, or a landlord to require a user to incur additional costs with the installation. So if they say, well, you can have it, but you have to do this and that and make it look like it's a tree and blah blah blah. They
Hmm.
can't do that. They cannot do that.
No, they can't.
So yeah,
That's
no,
because
you're right.
that's a construct. That's in a way a construction similar to what they do with cell towers.
Yeah, right, where they make it look like a goofy looking pine tree or
Hmm.
something that looks out of place. You know.
Yeah, they're about to put some of that stuff on top of my roof.
Yeah.
'Cause right now we're under repair construction here, emergency repair construction. 'Cause, buildings and codes. They're just like this is like right before I moved in, they were slamming this building with a lot of fines where I'm at, and finally we figured out what we need to do, and they already began repair.
So if you have a exclusive use area, right?
Uh-huh.
That would be like a balcony or something like that. You can put an antenna on it.
Actually, you got to be careful in New York. You
You,
you have to check with building enforcement.
again, federal law trumps.
Oh no, it's not that it's federal law to trust. It's basically it falls under the safety issue. It basically because
Yeah.
there are people that are stupid enough to put one on a fire escape, and it sticks out further
Oh
than
yeah,
it's
yeah, yeah,
supposed
yeah.
to be, and like I've seen people put satellite dishes on there, which
Yeah.
it's very easy to do. The satellite dish doesn't take that much space on there. But the ones that are putting out those protruding ones, they'll stick it on a fire escape, and it's like, no, that's not useful. You get a ticket for that. Building code enforcement will come in and ticket you for that. And you're like, well, but it's federal law that you can put it up. I said, no, you're hazard. Hazard overrules that in a way because basically they'll tell you, they say you could put it here, but you can't put it out this far out.
Right. Right. But anyway, of course, right now the FCC is closed, so good luck contacting them if somebody does try to give you a hard time. But
Yeah, that's true.
hopefully that'll be fixed by next week.
It'll be
I mean,
Friday.
tomorrow's a federal holiday, anyways. So there's a
We're
lot of
closed anyway tomorrow.
there's a lot of backlog right now on a lot of people that that passed their ham license test or did an upgrade or renewal or whatever, and we're still waiting to hear back from you know the official database from the FCC, and it's caused a lot of consternation in the ham radio community.
Mm.
But yeah, yeah. Anybody that like I said, know your rights,
Yeah, because I
and
remember I had a CB radio, and I had to
That's
put it
not
in.
covered, by the way. That is
Yeah,
not covered, and
no,
ham
it's
radio
not.
is not covered either
No,
by by. It is it. There are federal exemptions for ham radio for states and municipalities,
right,
but that does not cover HOAs, community, landlords, etc. We're working on that. We've been working on it my entire ham radio, whatever, 30, going on 36 years. We've been bitching about this for 36 years, probably longer. But there's a lot of negative connotations back in the day because the 6 meter ham band is 50 megahertz, right?
right.
And channel 2 broadcasts analog back in the day was right near it. so
Hmm.
so there was always the potential for interference. But now that everything has moved to digital, it's moved to higher frequencies. They're not using any of the low band frequencies anymore. What most people would know as VHF on their TV, that's not VHF
Well,
anymore.
no,
That's
they're taking a lot of those low bands. What is it? Cellular is grabbing a lot of those.
some of them. Some of them. It's not good
Oh, a
for
good chunk of them. No, good
50,
chunk of them.
50 megs is not really good for that. But a lot of the old 800 meg stuff is 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 being recycled back into many multiple services.
Yeah,
Because most of your cell phones now, they're in,
because
you know,
they're rapidly shutting down the ATSC 1.0,
yeah, well,
which I mean 3.0 is not ready.
yeah, but I'm, if my TV can't get it, then I'm not going through that whole digital upgrade again. I'm not buying new
Well,
television.
it's not that no. Here's the problem with that. They're
I
DRMing the whole 3.0.
Yeah.
So you gotta buy the freaking $100 box instead of like the freaking $25-$30 box or antenna.
It'll be interesting to see if there's another lawsuit, kind of like there was with the VCR.
Oh, it's coming. It's
With
coming.
the
There are. It's with the DRM
time.
situation. It's coming.
Yeah, with time. It was time shifting was what it was because they did not like VCRs back in the day. They did not want VCRs to be able to record
Oh
over the
yeah, I
air
remember that.
programming, and they fought tooth and nail about that. And
Yeah, they thought they were going to lose a lot of money in freaking the industry. If anything, they made
they
money.
made money because then they sold movies. Oh
You know,
yeah, we could do this.
they're like, what was it? The first thing it was like when they introduced the cassette, the 8-track, and like, oh, we're going to lose money. People are going to record all the. Nope, they made money. The VCR comes out. No, we're going to lose money. We're going to lose. Yeah, I mean, we're going to lose money. People are going to pirate it and everything like that. Didn't hurt them. DVD came in. Oh, they're going to hurt us. Then came the internet. They're gonna. They keep rehashing everything, and it's still making money, and they're making more money hand over fist. But if anything, piracy is helping some of these companies.
Yeah.
Crunchyroll, the largest American internet anime internet site, used to be a pirated site, and then they became legitimate. Now they're trying to shut down other pirated sites. Go figure on that one. They just removed, and I said this last week on Taco Thursday. I mean, the week before that, they just removed what was it? Claymore and several other anime that you can't buy it. It's hard to buy, and you can't find it on other streaming sites,
Yeah.
which is ridiculous. As the same, excuse me. It's the same thing with certain titles. Like I had to buy a couple of things before they disappeared off the net. It's like no game, no life is one of them. Interspecies reviewers is another one. which Interspecies Reviewers used to be on Crunchyroll, and then it's like the morality police came in and they're like, nope, can't have that. Why? Because they're having prostitution relationships with creatures in the series. That's what it was. It was about a couple of guys that basically was like, they were adventurers. This is like a fantasy world, and they're like, you know, we go to these whorehouses, and we have problems with these girls because we don't understand them because they're all these different species and stuff like that. I wish somebody would do give it an explanation, and then these guys figure it out and they go out and they do it themselves, and they start posting it. They start posting it on the walls at the center. They're giving you, how, you know, what do you give it? 2 thumbs up? The funny part is all the different species. Like you had one that looked like cows. Like the girls have udders on them. And it's like there, and there are others that just like that they're just like literally. What was it? What was it? There was a specific weird species. I'm trying to remember it, and it's just like you had to handle it with care. Everything was like a different story every time, and it was funny.
Yep.
And it was really really funny. But then they took it off, and they never did an English dub. And I said, it's starting to disappear. The price went up. I think, what did I pay for it? Oh, I paid $45 for it. Originally, it was like 25. Then it went to 45. And I said, I better get it before it disappears. The funny part is, I got it from Barnes and Noble. Barnes and Noble had it, so they had it at the cheaper price.
BioWare is alive? What?
What happened?
There's another Mass Effect game in development, huh?
Yeah, supposedly.
I thought BioWare was dead. They got eaten up by EA and ruined because
They are ruined.
Everything that EA touches turns to shit.
It turns to shit. Yeah, exactly.
Same thing with Microsoft. Same thing with all of them. They all turn to crap.
Yeah, I know. Yep, this is the things that happen.
Yeah.
Gaming has gotten really bad lately. Really, really bad. I mean, I'm playing Call of Duty right now, and I'm just like off a cloud server, and the cloud server is not that great on Xbox. It jams up on me every once in a while. But it's something that I take myself down, and I want to play, I want to relax. I'm going to play, but there are no other games that I've been wanting to play in the last 2-3 years. The last major game I bought was Cyberpunk. All the problems that happened with Cyberpunk.
Yeah.
That should have been a much better game. But this is the things that happen. Well, those of you who are watching, if you haven't yet, smack that thumbs up. If you haven't hit subscribe on there. We really would appreciate it. I know we're well over 1,400 subscribers right now. We're about 1,430 something, 1339. 1,439. Trying to get to 1,500. Also, for those of you who haven't realized yet, we do have a merch shop, shopcuticast.com. Right now, we're still extending the VPN 10 sale. Just use the promo code VPN 10, get 10% off your total purchase at the end. You just pop that in, you'll get the 10% off on there. We got some great shirts, mugs, and stuff like that because, and I hate to say this, the holidays are around the corner. Great as a Christmas gift. Get yourself something nice for someone you care for or someone you hate. And then, of course,
tomorrow,
we got
Wednesday.
Wednesday, we got, of course, Babylon 5 retrospective. It is the season finale ladies
Yeah.
and gentlemen. We've reached the end of season 2, which now, as you see the title card here, season 3 is coming. I believe we're going to start that in December. I think Snob already said that on Sunday.
Yeah, Snob I think officially announced it. We are going to do a wrap up show after this week. So this week is episode 22. We're going to be talking about the episode, and then following Wednesday, we are going to be talking about just kind of in general the whole season at large, and then the Wednesday after that is Thanksgiving Eve for those of us in the U.S. And so after it was brought to Snob's attention that a lot of people might be traveling or we don't know how many people are going to actually be able to watch the show. We might have more, we might have less, but we're going to do something a little different. And I think we're going to make it. We'll make an official announcement, I'm sure, probably on Wednesday
Yeah.
about what we're going to do. But there'll be a special show. So if you're not traveling, or even if you are and you just want to listen in, I mean, you can do that these days. But tune in, man. Tune in even if you're driving to grandma's house, over the river and through the woods. On Thanksgiving Eve, we're going to have a special episode, and I will keep it at that because the details I want Snob to be the one
Yeah,
to.
exactly. We'll let Sci-Fi Snob talk about that, and that's on Sci-Fi Snob's channel. And then, of course, Sunday nights are Top Lofty Lounge,
Yeah,
which I know this week definitely we know they're going to be doing
part two.
part 2 of is it a sci-fi or is it not a sci-fi?
Dun dun dun.
Which was I think was a great, interesting concept for this week. I
Yeah,
mean, there's
and they,
so
they
much.
they do have a movie night coming up too sometime this month as well.
The 23rd, I believe, and they're doing Planet of the
That's
Apes.
going to be Planet of the Apes. Yeah, the classic Planet of the Apes, the original.
Yeah, not the Marky Wahlberg.
No, no, no. This is going to be kicking it back old school. So I need to go buy a box set of that too now at Walmart if they have it. Presumably, maybe,
Yeah, I think they do.
probably they got a lot of. You'd be surprised the stuff you could find at Walmart, folks. I picked up the Babylon 5 box set, the DVD box set, which has the special commentary and stuff like that. Yes, it is available on Blu-ray as well, but I don't think they have the Blu-ray at Walmart. At least not in my Walmart, they didn't. And from what I understand, the Blu-ray version does not have that commentary. So, I think it's worthwhile. And this particular episode does have commentary. There is a commentary track for episode 22 for season 2. So, I've already watched it once. I'm not going to spoil it. But I've got to watch it at least once with the commentary track and kind of take some notes, and once just to take some notes. So I probably got at least 2 more watches in me before.
Actually, I'm
before.
looking at Walmart right now. They have the Legacy Collection of Planet of the Apes for $21.
Did you see if it's available near you?
Yeah, you can pick it up nearby. Shipping also.
Yeah, make sure you get it from Walmart and not have it shipped from a third party vendor. Walmart's been doing that, like kind of like
No, it's sold
Amazon.
and shipped. No, I always check that. Sold and shipped by Walmart. It says.
Yeah.
Well, no, it actually gives you the date that it'll arrive. It said it'll arrive by the 13th if I order it right now.
Well, there you go.
Yes, Planet of the Apes, Escape from Planet of the Apes, Conquest of the Planet of the Apes, Battle for the Planet of the Apes, and Beneath the Planet of the Apes
All is one set, right?
as one set.
There you go. How much is it?
$21.07.
That's a steal.
Yeah,
It's a steal. That's not a bad deal for a movie that's older than me. What is that?
but I can't
Almost
tell.
60 years
Oh,
old?
that's why it's DVD format. Sorry,
Why is that?
it's DVD format.
Oh, okay.
It's not Blu-ray.
Uh,
Hang on. Let me
Planet.
see. DVD. Is there a Blu-ray version? Ooh, that's what it. That's why the other ones are not available.
Yeah, now they have a trilogy, but that's the new movies. I don't want that one.
Actually, they have one here on what is it? Through Amazon, you can get both of them for like $120. Both series. It's like the original series and the newer one, all the newer ones. But yeah, no, there's. I don't think that. I don't know if they made a Blu-ray version of Planet of the Apes. I don't see one.
They may not have. I mean, are you? I don't know, I guess you could have taken. They could have taken the original masters and upscaled them. Fulfillment speed. I want it tomorrow. Uh,
Did you ever see the TV series?
no,
You never seen Planet of the Apes, the TV series?
I don't think so.
Oh, you got to catch. I know some of it. I think you can catch it right here on YouTube. At some of them on there. There's like a lot of episodes. It's like between the TV series and the animated TV series because they have the Saturday morning cartoon one, which that one was pretty good. But the TV series version of it, it's like Roddy McDowell comes in, but not as not as a different character.
Okay.
Yeah, this time it's two astronauts crash on future Earth, and they changed it up a bit because I don't know the time frame that this is at because it's probably before the time of Cornelius and on there I think is it because the way they have it look the cities are still around and the humans still talk.
Okay.
So it's these two astronauts and I'm trying to remember the guy's Roddy McDowell's character's name in this. And they're roving around. Is it Urko? It's Urko. General Urko. Is after them. So they're just going from town to town, trying to figure out how to get back to Earth. I mean, get back to their time period. I remember it pretty well from the original when ABC used to run the was it the 4:30 movie of the week
Yeah.
on Channel 7, and they did like a Planet of the Apes TV series marathon because what they did was they did a lot of editing with the TV series and turned them into mini movies. Like they'll splice in like two episodes together and make them into a movie. And when I remember in the 4:30 movie, they had Roddy McDowell come in dressed up as his character to do the intro and outros of each of the movies that week.
Yeah.
I'm surprised people didn't vote for the other movie, Damnation Alley. That was a decent movie. Did you ever see that one?
Years ago.
Ah,
Yeah. I so long ago.
yeah. Somebody was mentioning last night. Was it last night? His boy and his dog. I was like, holy shit! Someone actually watched the boy and his dog. You know,
I've never seen that. They were talking about that on Sunday.
That's Don Johnson from Miami Vice.
Yeah. How old was he in that one?
He was a kid. He was a kid.
Was he?
Yeah, he was very young. It's a post-apocalyptic situation. Uh, the dog talks in it. It's because the dog's mutated and stuff like that. You know, it is just a crazy movie where they're trying to survive through the lines, and um it's a messed up ending on top of that, on that, because they end up going to it dragged into this place where basically they're trying to procreate men, but not the way you think they're doing it. And in other words, they're just siphoning for their essence. And the way it ends, it's like, yeah, he got the girl, and then he got the girl.
So cause of death for Ace Frehley revealed blunt trauma.
Really?
What
was it? What was it?
Blunt trauma. It was ruled an accident. It was related to the fall that he took. I think.
Because I remember when Macho Man Randy Savage had car crashed his. Is he had a heart attack while he was driving, and then he crashed the car.
Yeah. Well, that's a crappy way to go. I don't recommend having a heart attack, by the way.
No,
they're not fun.
Neither do I.
I've had one.
I've had a partial stroke. Well, you could say it's a partial. They still don't want to give it the thumbs up that it was a stroke, but it did have an adverse effect on me. So, because what happened was I had come home from giving blood, for the doctor.
Yeah.
I went down and I sat down on the sofa, and I closed my eyes, and I start hearing people yelling. And I open my eyes, and it's 2 days later, and I'm in the hospital. 2 days. And the worst part about it is, from what I was told,
yeah,
I was awake, and I wasn't myself.
Oh yeah, that's one of the things that a lot of people don't.
I fought with the paramedics. I fought with, I came in. I was strapped to a freaking gurney when I woke up. And they were pumping me with fucking, drugs that that was like, that you don't want to be pumped with.
No.
I started seeing swirly things on the walls when I woke up.
All right. Well, I think I need to get out of here, man.
Yeah, I was about to say, let's close this out. Once again, ladies and gentlemen, first, Deaf Angel Channels, thank you for showing up. Shame on those who didn't. No, I'm kidding. Probably everybody else was busy tonight. Once again, Wednesday night, Babylon 5 retrospective on Sci-Fi Snobs channel. Tomorrow we got Madman with the Show. We got about 2 videos out tomorrow, and Wednesday. Hopefully we'll be able to get Otaku Thursday back up and running again. We had some issues on that. Hopefully we'll have it back up and running Thursday. If not, we'll have it on the week after on that. But we'll be back.
And happy Veterans Day, by the way.
And happy Veterans Day to everybody.
And it's also what
Jason's doing a show tomorrow, right?
I think he is.
Well, it's Sci-Fi for me. Be sure to check it out. Also, I know he has a couple of shows coming up. He was saying on there. Do you have anything coming up?
Not yet, but I've got some stuff in the works. I'm talking to a couple of people. Maybe we'll do another con jobs on Jason's channel soon. And still working on some other things, trying to help build his audience and everybody
help build
yours. Yeah. Everybody be sure to like and subscribe. I was going to say that if you didn't already. It does help. It does help, um, and we
Yes, it does.
appreciate it.
Especially now with all the stuff that freaking YouTube is
Yeah.
pulling right now.
Um,
They're trying to push us. They're trying to push us out to the
yeah.
curb.
Yeah. Send us to the glue factory.
But
Even those of
hmm
us are just still getting rolling on stuff or re-rolling, I guess, as the case may be.
hmm also, don't we'll be back next week, and I know Death Angels, you'll be joining me next week, correct?
I will definitely try. You
Okay,
know, I do pretty good. I do
you
pretty
do
good.
pretty good. Yeah, you do pretty good.
Yeah.
Appreciate it that you're here.
Yeah.
So we'll be here next week, same time, same square, 8 p.m. Eastern, or right here on YouTube, X, and Rumble. That's right. We're on all three platforms. If you can catch us on any of these three platforms. If you're on a platform where you can subscribe, yeah, please do hit that subscribe on there. So until next time, we'll see you. Have a good one, and bye bye.